What up, Kate?
What's up, Aaron?
Let's go. How are you?
Awesome. Your energy's amazing.
I just gotta let this song just play out just a couple more minutes because I'm just pumped right now. Let's go.
Oh, that's awesome.
Man, I'm just pumped right now, Kate. I'm so excited. How are you?
Doing really well. I'm excited for this too.
Thank you so much for being a part of this. This has been a long journey to get to this point. I'm just so thrilled, happy, stoked, grateful, all the feels.
It's awesome. We're all so proud of you. You can tell like you've worked hard, and it's just exciting. It's so awesome to do something like this, right? To share your wisdom and your truth, and it's beautiful. And your book's amazing. Absolutely loved it.
Thank you.
I have a lot of good questions for you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Let's just kind of start with like how everyone can go grab the book right now. I mean, the Amazon link is live. I put it in my bio. Everyone, I would appreciate you going to check out that link. It's right there. It's taken me 5 years, and I'm gonna get into that more and more. And like I'm gonna talk about the journey on this little live here. And we got a bunch of guests coming in, but go check out that link for me. And if you can do a 5-star review, that'd be very helpful.
Nice.
You know. And I wanted to say this too. I just made these shirts. They kind of go with the book. They came out pretty good. I got the runner on this side. Yeah. And you can get these at theinspiredathlete.com. So, yeah, I'm going to be making more merch, but I just wanted to throw that out there.
It's awesome. It looks cool, Aaron. I like it.
Yeah, thanks.
Nice.
I wanted to make it a little higher for the live, but there we go.
And do you have cuts for women, like the V-neck?
Yeah, these are unisex, and then I'll be adding more and more gear as I go.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Here we are, Kate.
Here we are.
We've been through a long journey too, meeting through David Meltzer and Craig Siegel. He's going to join us in a minute, but and you talk about your stuff for a second. I know this is all about the Inspired Athlete, but just mention what you got going on.
Yeah, so Aaron and I do a lot of similar things. We're all about law of attraction, power of the mind, uniting humanity, and just helping humans to just feel really hopeful and happy and alive. And so my company is DeBolt Network. I wrote a few books. I make films about what I do, teach Qigong, and I'm really trying to just mainstream ancient healing practices and really teach people that we're superhumans, that we can do anything. And I'm just excited about our future. And I believe that we truly can manifest peace in our world. So that's my next film that's coming out, is Manifest Peace. And everything's just very aligned with what Aaron does. That's why we're just in the same network and we love the same things, and just an honor to be here, Aaron. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And for everyone listening, go follow Kate at DeBolt Network. She's like my personal Qigong teacher. And, that practice of Qigong, just creating energy, just harnessing energy, that goes right in line with the whole stay inspired idea and the Inspired Athlete. And, I really love what you're doing with everything, but specifically that practice of Qigong. And so I appreciate, how you share, not just that about that stuff and the practice of it, but how you share it. It's great.
Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me kind of jump in a couple things here, and then for everyone listening, and Kate, you just stop me whenever you want and just kind of keep me on track.
Perfect.
And I've actually never done 3 people in a live before. So hopefully when Craig jumps on in about 5 minutes or so, we'll be able to all be on the same thing. But we're going to see what happens, right? Cool. So I'm just going to say some stuff. So the Inspired Athlete. I got a bunch of notes here. Man, it's taken me 5 years. It's taken me 5 years to make this little under 100-page guidebook. And, man, it's been such a journey of like self-growth, self-transformation, healing, connection, creating relationships, and just a lot of like kind of quiet time, right? I've taken a lot of quiet time to really get this message. And what happened for me is that this message came through like in the middle of the night one night about 5 years ago. And it was a message of, hey, remember that pyramid you made? Go write a book about that, and here it is right here. This is the pyramid, and it's the pyramid of inspired living, right? And so I made this pyramid. I kind of sketched it out on a piece of paper one time because to me, it's all about, that's the direction that I'd like to go in. And that's the message that I'd like to share. Whatever you're doing, whether you're an athlete, entrepreneur, artist, whatever it is, you should be going for that feeling of staying inspired. So I went on this journey to write a book about that pyramid, and every chapter in the book relates back to a block in the pyramid. And so that's what the book is. And so I wanted to just quickly explain what the inspired athlete means, because the word athlete, it's almost a little intimidating for someone who doesn't resonate with, or doesn't maybe identify with that word. For like, I'm not an athlete. Well, I would challenge that, and I'd say all of us are inspired athletes. If you have a body, if you woke up this morning and you took a deep breath and you got to experience waking up today, you are an inspired athlete. And to me, what that means is creating a relationship with your body, right? Creating a relationship with your mind, creating a relationship with the higher power, right? And just cultivating that relationship, you know? And that to me is an inspired athlete. And you know, like, okay, let's say you're not a competitor, right? You're not in sports. Let's say you're, whatever you're doing, right? If you want to make better choices for yourself, you are an inspired athlete. And that's the idea behind this book. I want everyone to embody the feeling of, I am an inspired athlete today, right? Because what that does for me is it makes me make better choices. And that's really what it is, because we all have choices all the time, every single moment of the day. Does that resonate, Kate?
Oh, absolutely. I love all this stuff. You know that. And what I love when I read your book too is you make a lot of references to things like law of attraction. And when you talk about visualization and gratitude circles and just a lot of the bold inspired action, you know, I loved that. I was like, yes, it's all about bold inspired action. So I love that. So would you say that manifesting law of attraction, like that's a big part of how you become a pro athlete or an athlete in general? Like you said, we're all athletes. I love that, by the way, that we're all athletes.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. You know, like, I mean, so I talk about this in the book, but basically, like, I believe it's best to take action from an inspired place first, right? Because like you hear all the time, the athletes, like that's what we do as athletes. We show up, we go to practice, we train, you know, we work hard, we compete. And I think it's best to be in an inspired place first. And sometimes that's really difficult. It's just really challenging. You know, a big part of my journey is that it's been difficult for me to stay inspired, right? Like it's hard to do that. It's hard to do that every single day. And I'm not, and just to clarify, I'm not suggesting that everyone stay inspired 100% of the time, right? Like that's not the idea, because we have feelings, we have emotions, right? There's things that come up. But the idea is that's the direction. That's the compass. That's the pyramid. That's the top of the pyramid. And that's like if we're all ships at sea, that's the rudder. We're pointing in the direction of staying inspired, right? And that's what this book is all about. That's what the stories in here, my journey. I've had a lot of mess ups too. You know, like I was thinking this morning in my meditation, we all slip on bananas. You know, I've slipped on bananas before, you know, and I think the important thing is how you recover, how you respond, you know. So yeah, I think it's definitely a part of being an athlete, being an inspired athlete, you know, the law of attraction, tapping in. And I want to say one other thing too, staying inspired in spirit. There's a big spiritual component to this journey, you know, and it's different for everybody. All that it's just very, very different. It's relative to what you think and what you believe, but cultivating that relationship is part of this journey.
Absolutely. And how do people can tune in more with their inner being, their higher self? How can they tap more into that side of them?
Yeah, getting quiet, you know, and that's hard for me because I love to do this. I love to connect. There's Craig Siegel. Craig, click request to join. But you know, I love to, you know, be all, you know, interconnected, right? But to me, what it is, it's about getting quiet and getting in tune and really like locking in and listening, right? Like and allowing your intuitive nudges to push you and guide you, you know?
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's how I feel about all that. And yeah, I would love to continue that conversation. It's a never ending conversation, really.
Oh, for sure.
So.
Sure.
let's get Craig in here. I want to do my best to stay on track as best I can with the time. Craig, just click request to join and I'll get you right up in here. So yeah. And if everyone, I would really like some engagement in this live. So if you want to throw in questions, if you want to request you, okay. If you want to, Kate, can you talk about that? Like just how people can engage?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone has questions, that's always awesome. If you want
yeah, let's go, Craig.
Yeah.
Woo! Dude, welcome, bro.
It's good to be here. I'm so proud of you, Aaron. What an exciting day. I've seen you working on this thing behind the scenes for a very long time, and it's so special to see you nurture this process and now bring it to fruition. Couldn't be prouder. Kate, always good to see you guys. Let's get nuts.
Hey, Craig, that means so much to me. Thank you so much. Kate, anytime you want to jump in, just interrupt or jump in, okay? I just want to personally thank you, Craig, because when I got to know you over the last, I guess it's been a couple of years now, you know me, I was all about how do I do this? How do I make money? How? And, you know, and this whole time you've really kind of challenged me to say, dude, just get in touch with yourself. Commit to being the best version of yourself. And I actually called you in my, I listed you not just as my mindset coach, but my personal growth coach. That's what you are to me, bro.
What an honor. First of all, I appreciate that very much. I'm going to go ahead and receive that. And I love you, but it's so true, right? And the word of the year seems to be available.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't a little while back, right? Neither was I a couple of years back. But it's funny because everybody wants strategies and tactics. And I'm like, before we get into that, we have to be accessible, available for what's about to happen next. Because if you're not available and you're not in that right frequency or vibing high, none of the strategies in the world is going to help you. But you, my friend, I don't think I've ever seen anyone more available right now. And look what's happened. Monetized YouTube channel, book out. I mean, you name it, and you just get warmed up. So it's so special to watch you and your journey. And like I said, you're just getting started, buddy. It's unbelievable.
Thank you so much, Craig. Man, you know, and like, I want to do a quick plug for you, man, because the CLS experience, the podcast and the CLS community, man, it's been so inspiring. Not just to be a part of it. I feel like I'm one of the founding members. I was there from the beginning, you know. But just to watch you grow as a leader and watch you create all these relationships, man, that is so inspiring to me. You know, it's so natural for you to relate to somebody and have them relate back to you and connect with them on their level first. That's what I love how you do that, man.
Yeah, thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate you saying that. It's a case by case, right? Everybody's in a different place in life. Like for me, this season is totally different than a couple seasons ago, and that's because we're always growing. So I think the key lesson there for the audience today is to meet people where they are. This thing called life is not a one size fits all. And when you be a little bit more intentional and personal with different people, you're able to build a much thicker rapport and a more special connection, if you will.
Yeah. Kate, do you have anything for Craig? I got so much, but I'm going to let you jump in.
Yeah, of course. So I consider Craig to be one of the most high energy, inspiring, like just a magnetic, amazing people. And so I guess my question for you, Craig, is what keeps you so inspired and so lit up all the time?
I'm just in love with what's going on right now in my life. And I know I have, as Aaron loves to use that word from Abraham Hicks, because I remember what it feels like just a couple of years ago to not be happy, to not be fulfilled, to not be excited, right? And so when I finally found my calling in the beginning of the pandemic after 35 years, I'm honestly, truly fulfilling my assignment. And I believe all of us, and we're going to get deep right now, we're all here for a reason, 100%. Also, we all have gifts. We just have to identify them. Right? And my assignment took me a little bit later than I'd like to admit to find out what it is, but I also believe I had to go through everything I did to get to this point, right? Sometimes you have to go through the darkness to want to see the light. And so I am lit up. And it's fun. People always like, what are you on? I love this stuff. This isn't work to me. I genuinely love helping people. I love connecting with big thinkers, with great people like you two. I love the podcast, the book, all of it. And the message for that is anybody listening that's like, well, easy for you to say, Craig, you're doing what you love. This is possible for all of us. You could 100% combined making a massive impact and making a lucrative living. You have to be available, surround yourself with the right people that can encourage you, and then obviously be committed to the process.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. All right, Craig, we only have a few minutes, but I wanted you to just touch briefly on getting through challenges, right? Because all of us, you know me too. I just went through some big time personal challenges, but I watch you and, you know, the tumor, the car thing, you know, I watch how you get through these things and you use them for fuel. And then you go do a PR and your fifth marathon? Sixth? Man, just talk about that. Talk about how you use those challenges as fuel, man.
Yeah, so simply put, I've made a choice, and I want to hammer that home. It's a choice to live that everything happens for me, not to me, right? And when you have that approach to life, you assume accountability and ownership for everything. So if something happens to me that's hard to connect the dots in the moment, I understand that sooner than later down the line, I'm going to look back and say, thank God that happened for me, right? And this is a really powerful place to operate from because, as you guys know, we're growing rapidly and we're scaling and we're hiring. And if one of my employees or family members does something wrong or not the result I was looking for, I immediately assume ownership. What could I have done to communicate it a little bit more effectively for them to have completed the task? And when you live like that, it's just super powerful. And the most important thing it does is it permanently removes that victim mentality. Why me? And I see a lot of people, unfortunately, suffer for that. So bottom line, make the choice to live on purpose with the mentality that everything happens for you, not to you.
Bam! Bang! I love it, man. I'm just going to keep plugging you because I only got a couple minutes left, man. But everybody, go follow Craig. Go join the CLS membership. And then, Craig, just real quick, talk about your podcast course that you're launching, too. Do you have any room or are you all full?
Yeah, so I had a goal in mind, and it tripled in regards to the people that signed up. And I don't want to turn anyone down because I made it very inexpensive. I'm basically giving it away. It's $1,500 for 5 weeks. How to start from A to Z, your podcast, if you already have one, how to get big notable guests, and then how to attract sponsorships and monetize. And a one-on-one client and I just was on a call a little while ago, and now she has her first sponsorship paid for, monetized podcast. It's just so special. So what I did was I'm breaking the program down into 3 different calls because there's so many people. So it's going to be more calls for me. I just want everyone to have the intimate experience. But yeah, you can still sign up. The link is in the bio and so forth. Essentially, the podcast is such a great platform and tool. You know that better than anybody. It's funny because in 2021, I thought I was late to the game with the podcast. And then I said, screw that. You got to start somewhere. And we built the podcast. And I can honestly say, of all the lanes in the 10-lane hobby that is CLS, the CLS Experience podcast has been the most valuable vehicle of all of them that has opened up massive opportunities, specifically the big book deal that we just signed with Wiley.
Let's go. Let's go. You know, you're going to have one of these too soon, man. And I just got to quickly say, your podcast, man, is so inspiring, man. Like, it's just been like, and how I got connected with Rob Deerdeck, that was you, bro. That was you. David Meltzer, too. Shout out David Meltzer. That's our boy. But that was you, man, because I'm just inspired the way you, like I said, connect, but articulate, bro. You have a gift of articulation. I know you call David the what is it, the articulate alligator? As I stumble. No, but you're so articulate. You have a gift, man, and it's so cool that you're sharing it. And you know, I can just feel a collab coming with both of us, maybe all of us, all 3 of us, one day soon. I can feel that.
I would, and thank you for saying those beautiful words. And I want everybody to know that's on this call that's going to see the replay. Everybody has gifts. The key is to do your best to identify what they are and then give back. And for anyone that's out there that's like, well, I want to make money too. Trust me when I tell you, when you're so energetically behind your gifts, the money has no choice but to follow you. It's just an energetic exchange.
Woo! Craig, dude, you're the man, bro. Real quick, tell people how they can get in touch with you, follow you, connect with you.
Just come say what up on Instagram. You can go to our website, cultivatelastingsymphony.com, check out ways to join the community and so forth. If you love inspiration, we send out a couple texts a week on strategies, inspirational. People say it's the best one out there. You can text the number 917-634-3796. Drop the word Aaron in there so I know that it came from this conversation. And anywhere you go to buy books these days, stay tuned. We got a big surprise coming. And genuinely, thank you so much for having me. But most importantly, congratulations, Aaron. I'm so proud of you, buddy. This book was a passion project of yours, but even more importantly, the impact that it's going to make for the rest of the world. The world needs it. So thank you for identifying your gifts and making that choice to serve everybody.
Thanks so much, Craig. I love you like a bro, man. Like, I really do, man. And I appreciate you. And like I said, like we always say, we're just getting started, right?
That's it. That's it, guys.
Appreciate you, bro.
Bye, Kate.
Bye, Craig. Love you. Oh, he's the best.
He's the best. He's the best. Kate,
Mm-hmm.
say anything you want, because I'm like trying to organize my thoughts here.
Ooh, how do you? Every time I hear Craig speak, it's like I'm just so lit up. Like I'm on fire right now. He's just so contagious. That's our big message for people, is that when we master the inner world and we radiate that joy and that high frequency and that passion, it's contagious, you know? And I just think that that's what we're trying to share with people.
Yes. Brandie! Let's go!
Hey.
How's it going, Brandie?
How are you? How are you guys?
Thanks so much for joining today. Brandie, Kate, Brandie.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Brandie, thank you so much for being a part of this. Briefly, just give yourself a quick intro to anyone who may not know you on my live here.
Oh, yeah, quick intro. I'm a Team Canada Beach Volleyball Olympian, and I also play professional on the AVP Tour. I am a co-founder of a Project Worthy scholarship program, which helps fund BIPOC athletes to play volleyball as well.
Bang! Brandie, like, ever since I thought of this whole project of the Inspired Athlete, and when I helped you guys train back in the day with Coach Evie and Heather, I just noticed that you were an inspired athlete. I could feel that. I was hoping you could just define that for yourself. What does that mean to you, being an inspired athlete?
Well, firstly, thank you for saying that. I take that as a huge compliment. And I always felt that your energy just radiated at those practices, and you left an impression on me for sure. I know we didn't get to work very long, but I'm so happy and honored to still have a connection with you, and I'm happy for you and this book. I'm so excited. For me, inspired, I think, comes from a sense of, I guess, a mix of resilience and self-confidence, and just, being your own number one fan, I guess, because I've learned that, people come and go and things happen, challenges come, but when you can really rely on your capabilities to adjust, to pivot, to receive, to give, and to show up, then there's nothing really that can stop you. And you'd be so amazed the amount of opportunities and people and lessons and blessings that show up when you're in a place to put yourself out there and be vulnerable.
I love that. I mean, that's so beautiful. And as an Olympian and as a world-class athlete, how do you stay inspired? Because there's so many challenges, right? There's ups and downs. I mean, that's really what, the whole message, right? Is stay inspired. But how? How do we do that?
I think just really rooting down to your purpose in everything that you do, every step that you take. For me, if I was solely doing sports or being at this platform for, some sort of superficial success, I think it would be easy to be swayed. To me, my root is I want to learn, I want to expand, I want to push myself and see where I can take myself as a human and what my human experience can be and how I can connect with other people. And sport has been an avenue of that. So whatever activities we're doing on the day-to-day are just kind of like the superficial level of what we're truly trying to find and just feel more fulfilled doing. So every day I feel fulfilled when I'm learning something. So volleyball has helped me put myself in position to learn.
Yeah. And Kate, I want to let you jump in too, but Brandie, you just said something that kind of has been a driving factor for this whole project, which is fulfillment. You know, and when I play sport and when I do stuff like this on Instagram and connect with people like you, I feel that feeling of fulfillment. And fulfillment to me is, I think, what we're all going for in our own way, whether it's in sport, whether it's in business and family, whatever that is, fulfillment, right? Like, that's it, you know? Do you guys, I mean, I'll open it up for both of you guys. Do you guys, like, does that resonate?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what life is about, right? Being fulfilled and whole and happy. And I guess that's actually my question for you, Brandie, is what and who really keeps you inspired and motivated? Like, what's basically like your personal self-care routine? Like what keeps you going and what keeps you healthy and aligned?
I think what I was mentioning in terms of learning and being creative, but I think I have very strong family values. I have 3 younger siblings that I see on a daily basis, and I want to be a role model to them. I have family that has gone through so much. I come from a very diverse background, so I feel like I represent many voices, and a lot of voices that maybe aren't always shown. And so I feel a responsibility, a duty, and an honor to do so in different spaces. So that inspires me, you know, telling story.
I love it. I love it. Brandie, only a few minutes left, but I actually wanted to read your quote since you mentioned creativity. I quoted you from our podcast and I put it in here. So I just wanted to read it to you and let you respond. I think when you get in your own way, you can push yourself forward. You can pull yourself back. And I think that has nothing to do with your circumstances, your upbringing, your background. It's very much on you to trust your mind and its creativity to formulate things for you.
Good. I was like, okay, no,
that's you.
No, I do stand by that. I mean, like, in places where people want things to be easy and comfortable, make excuses, and yes, some roads are more difficult than others. I will never take that away. I've had my share of difficulties, but it takes courage and creativity to find ways to get to where you want. And that's where I kind of say you got to be your own #1 fan, and you got to put in the work to believe in those ideas and to go for it. And the crazier, the wilder, the scarier, probably the better.
Love that. I love that. Kate, do you have anything else? I want to kind of try our best to stay on track here.
No, I love it. I love that whole concept too of being your #1 fan. I wish more people would do that. That's awesome. I love that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Hey, Brandie, how can people connect with you or best support you?
I'm best contact would be Instagram. So if you follow me here on VVMA, then that's easy to get in touch. And from there, I will expand my platforms hopefully. But right now, Instagram's the way to go.
Brandie, thank you so much for being a part of this book and being a part of this whole project and on the podcast and on this IG Live. And just thank you for being a shining light. You know, like, I think that's why people resonate with you. I mean, yes, you're an amazing athlete and, you know, you're an Olympian. That's awesome. But you have this light that just shines, and that's what makes you an inspired athlete, you know? Wow. And I actually, here's a little bit of coaching for you, right? I actually want you to think that next time you play, I want you to say, I'm an inspired athlete.
Wow, I will. I absolutely will. And I will encourage others to do so. So thank you so much for your time. And again, congrats. This is so aligned to your gifts. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Brandie. I appreciate you so much.
Nice to meet you, Kate. Bye.
Woo. Wow. Kate, this is amazing, right? It's so
loving.
It's so great. And we got more people too. I got Bourne coming on next. So Try, if you're listening, I think I saw you in there. Go ahead and click request to join, or I can invite you. While I'm working on that, Kate, just anything you want. How can be, any giveaways, anything? Yeah.
Yeah. Did you want to do the giveaway for the signed book? Did you want to?
Yeah. How are we doing that again? I forgot.
I don't know. We're doing freestyle with all this.
Yeah.
We're kind of figuring it out as we go. But I know you had talked about the signed book and then the pyramid and the T-shirt, doing a combination with that. Did you want to do something like that, where if they follow the steps? Yeah.
I forgot how I said that. I've never done this before, but if you guys want a signed copy of the book, basically what you would do is, I'll tell you what I'll do right now. Just engage. Ask a question. Ask a question for me or for any of these guests or for the book process, and Kate will choose the best question, and I'll just mail you a signed copy. How about that?
All right. Let's see what comes up.
All right, cool. Let's, because I would love some engagement. Let's get Bourne in here. Speaking of Olympians, another Olympian, a champion, and a friend. Bourne, let's go. What's up, brother?
What up? I decided to do a outdoor experience today.
I love it, man. Hey, this is Kate. Kate.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. I actually was coming down to have lunch with my coach, and the college events going on down here at Manhattan Beach Pier. And
oh, I lost your audio a little bit.
I know how that is.
Spot to
be inspired. Yeah,
very inspiring spot for me.
that's home base for you, bro. You know. So look, man, we got a few minutes here. I just wanted to have you on because, first of all, I just appreciate you. And when I think of inspired athlete, I just had Brandie on. I think of you, man. You know, we've spent quite a bit of time together on the court. You know, I've helped train you a little bit over the years, but I've watched your journey, man. I've watched your journey. You've been through a lot of ups and downs. Lately, a lot of ups. Congrats on your recent success. But talk about how you stay inspired, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think staying inspired is something that comes with a certain lifestyle that you live. It's doing the things that you're passionate about. That's being inspired, I think, isn't something that you can just turn on and off. You have to love what you're doing. You have to be passionate about it. You don't get to just choose and be like, I'm going to be inspired today. Like, no, you have to notice the things that inspire you. Notice the things that you love, that you enjoy doing. And then ideally, do that daily, you know, make that your job, hopefully. You know, it's easier said than done, but for me, I literally grew up playing this sport for fun with my friends and never thought about it being a profession. And then eventually that became an option. I was like, that's a no-brainer. And then I stay inspired to do it because I'm so grateful that it's my job. And like, yeah, I have bad days, but I'm like, listen, if you want this to be your job, you can suck it up and like sacrifice when you need to sacrifice, because this is the life that makes me feel passionate and enjoy getting out of bed every day. So, you know, you got to work hard to keep it.
I love that, man. And, you know, for people who don't know, you know, Tri got called into the Olympics. That was that was 2021, right? It was last year. It was supposed to be the 2020 Olympics. Taylor Crabb got COVID, and last second they called you in. They called in the big Tri Bourne. Talk about that experience of like getting that phone call and just being like, "Hey, man, we need you for the Olympics. Are you ready?" Yeah. You know, talk about that for a second.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it makes me smile just thinking about it, because when I heard those words, essentially, you know, not exactly, or whatever it was, the call, you know, you ready? I knew, like, deep in my heart, right away, I'm ready. And that came from preparation. That came from all the time that I had already put in. If I had decided in that moment, okay, time to get ready, no, it's too late. I knew I had put the work in. I dreamt about being there. I had visualized it. I didn't think I was going to be there, so I was already thinking on to the next quad. And it was the coolest experience, just because I really got to prove to myself that I was ready. You know, going out there and ended up, you know, it's kind of a random statistic, but like ended up with the highest hitting percentage in all of the Olympics, which means like they came at me because obviously I'm the guy that just got subbed in, and I just knew where my head was at, my focus, my confidence. And I always wonder, you don't know until you're there. Can I handle it? Can I be on that stage, look into that camera? Granted, the fans weren't there. Can I look into that camera and know that millions of people are in that camera watching, and just go out there and do my own thing and stay present and do what I'm trained to do? And then I got to prove to myself that, yep, I can do that. And now I'm even more inspired to go back and win even more. We got a 9th there, which is respectable, but I really, really want to test myself and see if I can get a medal.
I love it. Let's go. Kate, he's kind of speaking your language right now. Could you like frame some sort of talking point or question about, he mentioned visualization, and you guys are very aligned with the meditation and visualization stuff. You want to take something like that?
Well, that's funny because that actually was going to be my question.
Okay.
Asking about meditation, maybe power of the mind, attraction. That's my zone for sure. I can tell you're into that. So can you just tell us basically what your personal practice is, what type of meditation, what you do to keep your mind sharp and focused?
Yeah, I like to do it as often as possible. And one of the best things that happened to me, and it sounds backwards, is one of the worst things that happened to me. Getting my autoimmune disease a while back actually made me sit out of the sport for 2 years, and I realized controlling my mind and doing the meditation and mental work was one of the biggest opportunities I had by sitting out of the sport. I could really focus on that. So I really fell in love with it there and realized the benefits. And so I try to apply it daily. And I go to the beach before practice and try to do some kind of meditation. I work with a sports psychologist weekly who gives me different ideas. And it's an evolving thing, but for the most part, I just try to practice it every day. It's one of the, definitely feels like a muscle. Like you have to do it to make it a habit and make it easier. First time you do it, if you took 2 weeks off, it's going to be a lot more difficult, and then it gets easier and easier. It becomes more of a habit. But I go down to the beach and I try to kind of tap into all of my senses, you know, sense of smell, and just really just smelling. I'm just trying to smell, notice the smells and not let myself get distracted. I'm just feeling. Usually it's the wind, right? Like if I'm sitting out here. I'm just seeing. I'm trying to focus on what I'm seeing. Like tap into all the senses, and that really helps me become present. But there's a lot of different techniques to use. That's just one that I use in the morning. I also just try to really look around and become aware of my surroundings as well. Sometimes you're like so in your own head that you don't even notice that it's a beautiful day, you know, or that it's not a beautiful day, or that it's, you know, there's someone doing something crazy, or, you know. But it's really just practicing being present so that I can easily tap into that mindset on the court.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, that's great.
So awesome. Yeah. You're speaking our language here, Try.
Exactly.
We only have 2 minutes. I wanted to read, it actually goes with what you just said. I wanted to read your quote in the book, which I quoted from our podcast. This is you. The biggest challenge was the autoimmune disease, for sure. It was the biggest challenge and also the biggest breakthrough for me because I feel like I tried to go through it. I didn't go around the problem. I went through it. I went right through it. And I gained all that energy that it was trying to suck out of me. I feel like I absorbed it and I used it. And now I'm using all that same energy to go in the right direction. And that was before you won twice this year. And, you know, talk about that. Talk about that journey of that quote, what that means to you and how that propelled you.
Yeah. I mean, I was just thinking about that 2 days ago. I was thinking about all this stuff a lot, and I was just realizing that, man, going through your problems, facing them, and the way I was thinking of it is just kill your problem. If you go around it, it stays alive. And now you're running around with all these problems that are present in your life. Whereas if you just go through it and kill it, it's done. That thing's done. You moved through it. You learned from it. You gained like a weapon to move for. This kind of like, I'm talking about like war terms, like kill and weapon and all that, but you can use that weapon going forward to better yourself in life. And if you dodge problems and you kind of like squeak around them and let them linger because you don't want to put the time in or it's just difficult, they come back to haunt you. And then now you're dealing with many problems all at the same time, and your life can kind of spin out of control. Whereas like, I have one problem in front of me, I'm going to face it, one challenge, I'm going to go through it, kill it, and then move on. You end up, it's just a lot easier to live like a clear life.
Try Bourne, man. Dude, I just can't thank you enough, man, for being a part of this project, for sharing your story, for being vulnerable. You know, it's just real cool, man. You know, not everyone likes to share, especially when really challenging things happen. And I love that you are willing to share and talk about it because it will help other people. You know, and sometimes we don't know who's listening, you know, but someone is listening and someone is getting value from this, man. So I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, my pleasure. I love being around, other people who are looking to better themselves. So love being a part of this little community that you've created, and looking forward to reading the book.
Yeah, bro. Thank you. Real quick before I let you go, man, tell people how they can connect with you or best support you.
Yeah. I mean, Instagram, obviously. Here on Instagram, I try to keep it pretty updated, but my Sandcast podcast has been going good alongside your podcast, and we're trying to upgrade and create more content a lot on YouTube as well. So if you want to check out the podcast and the YouTube channel, check that out. It's Sandcast Podcast.
Perfect. Awesome. Try, man. I love you, bro. Appreciate you
guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Nice to meet you, Kate.
Nice to meet you too, Trey.
We'll be in touch.
Awesome.
Man, this is so fun. Oh man, this is great. Kate, can you just talk about how people can best like get their comments read, or like maybe they should put like the word Kate in front of their comment or question, so because it's just hard to keep up with the comments and stuff.
That's exactly what I was going to comment on, because I'm actually not on the computer. I'm doing this from my phone, so I would have to sit here and text. So I'm trying not to be distracting. So I do see questions popping up, and I'm writing them down. So whenever we have time, I can ask some of those questions, but I can't respond to people. I don't know if you can on your end, but I can't do it on my computer. Like
Got it. Got it.
That's why
if you guys want to, if you want to put like the word Kate next to your comment or question, I think that'd be best. But I got to keep getting people in here. So the next person we got is another Olympian, Casey Patterson. Casey, get up in this. Let's go, kid. Come on, ready? Boom.
What's up, dude? Come on, Blair.
What's up, bro?
Oh, cruising. Kids are all at the beach, hanging out. They ditched school, so I'm home alone just working. It was perfect timing.
A father of 5, right? 5 kids? Oh, my God.
I'm not sure, but if you have kids, an empty house is like the greatest thing on planet Earth.
Hey, Casey, meet Kate.
Hi, Kate.
Hi, Casey. How are you?
Good.
Nice.
Kate's awesome. She's helping me out with this whole launch. And I just want to start by saying thank you, man, for being a part of this project. Thank you for being an inspired athlete, man. Like all these people that I've tried to, include in this project, include in this idea of like staying inspired. You're right up in there, man. You know?
Hey, dude. I love it. We've
And
had so many rad battles. It's been good times. So
yeah. Well, let's just start.
Product.
What's that?
I said we've had so many battles, and I've watched and followed you for so long that I'm excited to read and like check it out and see the final product here. See the fire that you put into that.
Well, first of all, thank you. Let me say this, man. I'm just gonna start by saying congratulations on an incredible, legendary career. I know you just basically had your last match in Phoenix, right?
Yeah.
Unless you get called up, you never know. But
right.
I do want to say congratulations, man, and for anyone who doesn't know your career, you've committed fully to the craft, man. You've stayed inspired through this whole journey of being a professional beach volleyball player, an Olympian, a champion. So I give you mad love, bro, because it's not easy to do. And being a father of 5 and a husband, like, man, that's just it's a beautiful thing for me to watch as a former competitor and as a fan. You know, it's awesome, man. So congratulations, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. It's, I love that. Just the whole, like the topic of your book in general, it's such an inspiring thing alone, because we all have these passions that we love and they're never easy. Right. And having 5 kids, living, an hour and a half from Hermosa where everyone trains, like you really got to love what you do. And if you truly love what you're doing, like you make it happen. And so, that's been basically my career, is travel around the world, making it happen just because I love the sport so much and it gave so much back to me. So staying inspired was easy because I loved it so much.
Yes, man. Yes. Well, okay. So I've been asking some people this, the inspired athlete. How would you define that for yourself?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that we fall in love with sports as kids, or a specific topic. Like I loved art and I loved drawing when I was a kid too. So I was like super into that as well. Or going to my dad's shop and making like a boomerang or like some sort of like ninja sword. Like I was into just like creating, right? And so as a kid, we all play sports. We do all these different things. We love to just find passions, right? And we slowly are like honing it into like 1 or 2 things that we really, really love, because not only enjoy it, but we're also starting to see that we're kind of good at it, right? And so then it becomes easier because we're good at it, and then it's more fun. And so we're more inspired because we feel confident, and they're like, all these things start adding up. And then it gets really hard. Like you go to college and you're like, oh, this is more like a job than what it used to be or how it was when I started. And I think we're able to stay inspired throughout that phase into pro or into like wherever we go with what we love to do, because we fall in love with the process almost more than the specific goal that we're reaching. You know what I mean? Like for me, it was like winning AVP tournaments or, you know, going to the Olympics. Looking back, the process and the team and the people and the experiences were significantly more valuable than like the end result of like, oh, winning, cool, we did take a picture after. It's like, no, it was all the things leading up to it that I remember more and that I take into my like heart, and my kids talk about it. Like that stuff is how we stay inspired. And I think sometimes we lose that like focus along the way. We're like, oh, I just got to like grind. I got to grind. And it's like, dude, all these cool stories and all these experiences leading up to it, those are the things that just keep giving you the little burst of inspiration, right? They just keep giving me like another little like bump, a little burst, and it helps me get there. And then you look back, you're like, oh, it was everyone around me in that universe that was created when I tried to get to that specific goal that was inspiring me the whole way. So I almost didn't even recognize it because I was so hyper-focused. And then once you get there, you look back, you're like, oh my gosh, it was my kids, it was the team around me, it was my competitors, it was, you know, other people outside of the sport that inspired me in different ways. So for me, it's just like, man, it's the journey that really inspires us to keep going and to find new things. You know, once you finish one, it's like the next chapter. It's so fun.
Beautiful, beautiful. Kate, anytime you want to jump in, just let me know. But I got to ask you this, Casey, because I haven't really asked the guest this yet on this topic. The idea of in spirit, the spiritual part of this conversation. Yeah. How do you find that while you're doing all these other things? Now you're into pickleball.
That's crazy. I think there's like I love that you said that, because there's a physical side, and then there's like this soul searching spiritual side of the things that we do. And we kind of tap into those two buckets back and forth all the time. And then they fulfill that inspiration in whole that helps us get to where we're going. And so I think sometimes you show up, you have a terrible practice, and then you get some message or a text message from a kid you used to coach 10 years ago who's got a family now. He's like, dude, coach, I'm so stoked that you're on tour still. Just wanted to let you know, like, I'm living in wherever. I got 2 kids, and I just thank you for being such a good example, or whatever, something like that. And you're like, oh my gosh, that fills my soul and my spirit. And that's what keeps me motivated. And to be honest, like seeing like a TJ DeFalco or all these other guys, like even seeing like Taylor Sander, I remember watching him when he was a kid playing like 17s club volleyball. And these guys are all like Olympic medalists and Olympians now. And I mean, they were like little 12-year-old turds when I first saw them. And it's like, oh my gosh, that fills the spiritual side of like, wow, it's more than just you hitting the ball and trying to achieve your goal. It's all these kids and all the like layers of inspiration from both ends. And now seeing my kids volunteer at the AVP event, and it's like, dude, that I was like crying, and we're in like a first round in Manhattan Beach, and, you know, and I'm like crying because my kids are both shagging balls with their volunteer shirt on. And I'm like,
that's cool.
That fills the soul, right?
Yeah.
And so now I'm almost more inspired from that side of the competition and the universe that evolves around beach volleyball than actually playing. So it's rad because you're just constantly dipping into both buckets, the physical, the spiritual. So it's been really cool.
Well said, bro. Kate, do you have anything for him? We got like 1 minute left with Casey.
What would be your best advice for the next generation when they want to chase their, you know, and pursue their passions and their dreams?
Yeah, and I love that you asked that question, because it's probably the number one thing conversation I'm having with my boys right now. Cash and Guy are 13 and 11, and they're both playing in like a 14s club.
Oh, we lost your audio, Casey. Oh,
We lost your audio. Oh, no.
Hey, we lost your audio, bro. Oh man, I think maybe a phone call came in. Oh, I wish we lost your audio, bro. Oh man.
Oh man, it looked like such a good answer.
Oh, there you are. Oh, we lost your audio. Just repeat that real quick.
You're good. My wife was calling me. I sent her off. She's got time. I just said I'm coaching my boys Cash and Guy, 13 and 11, and they're playing 14s volleyball. And they always get inspired when they would go to a tournament with me. You know, like we said before, they'd volunteer, and they're just so inspired by like that aura, right? It's kind of like watching a Rocky movie. I'm like, I got to get boxing gloves and go punch something. Like, you just get inspired with whatever's around you. And they get so like upset when they're not immediately so good, right? Because they've been around watching all these athletes who have dedicated their lives. And I'm like, you guys, Dad's 42 and I'm still working on trying to run a high line shot down. Like, I'm still not very good at it. And I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, the number one thing I tell them is you have to be resilient and put the time in. Like, everything is hard. And the only reason they make it look easy is because they've dedicated their lives to getting better at it in so many different ways. So what I feel like this next generation needs is you need to be resilient. You have to put in the time when it's terrible, when you don't feel good. And you just have to keep going, because over time, it's going to happen if you truly want it. And so it's not the instant YouTube click, oh, no commercials, I just get to stream the show I want, and I just can go to the next one. Like, we grew up watching TV and waiting 20 minutes with commercials and then getting 5 minutes of the actual movie and then waiting another 20 minutes for 5 minutes. Like, we were trained to like wait and work and then get that like result, that little result that we want. So it's like the same thing. Just be resilient and keep going.
Love it, man. I love it. Casey Patterson, bro. Real quick, just tell people how they can support you or follow you or connect with you.
Yeah, I'm just on here at Casey Pat on Instagram. I think I'm the same all across the board, but you know, supporting me is by supporting Alex here and buying his book. That's how they can support me.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it a lot. Casey Patterson, dude. I'm a fan, bro. You know, and I appreciate you being a part of this project and being on this live today, and love you, man.
Of course, dude. Appreciate it. Love you. Later,
bro.
Bye, Casey.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Woo, man. So cool, man. So cool. I did want to grab Dain Blanton. Are you still here? Because I see your request. I wanted to get you in here. I had Geeter, who's supposed to come on next, but maybe I can get both Dain Blanton and Geeter in real quick. Let's see if I can get Dain Blanton, another Olympic gold medalist. Let's see if he's there. Again, this is an experiment, but hey, he's there. Let's go, Dain. Woo!
What's up?
Dude,
I just,
bro?
my earphones just went out. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Now I've been listening. It was funny because Try jumped on and we're both at the same beach, I would imagine. But just coaching the team down here, our first fall tournament. I just wanted to jump on real quick to say you're killing it. Both of you and Kate, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
But I know I've been with you for this whole journey, and now to see you publish this book is really cool. And you know, I know you guys probably got a whole list of characters coming on here. I just wanted to come on quickly and say congratulations, and you know, I support you 100%, and hopefully I had some part in inspiring you to do this book. And I bought the book. I haven't read it yet, and I can't wait to check it out. But keep doing what you're doing and keep firing people up.
Thank you so much, Dain. Like, I consider you a friend, a mentor. You are a shining light, man. Like, you are a shining light in a landscape that is so filled with egos, right? And I love that about you, that you are so humble, even with your gold medal, even with all your success. You are an inspired athlete, man. Briefly define that for yourself. What does that mean to you, an inspired athlete?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing for me is even when I was competing, you wanted to inspire the next generation. You know, you just had Casey Patterson on, and I remember him winning his first tournament in 2009, and I remember calling him after. He says to this day he still got it saved on his voicemail that I called to congratulate him. But to see the career he's had since then, and you know, you just hope you're a small part of that, and that's why coaching now is so awesome. You just hope you're a small part of getting individuals to the next level, right? And pushing them to the next level. That's what it's all about. And so that's why, you know, I've been somewhat of a pioneer in the sport in terms of trying to blaze the trail, trying to get more diversity in the sport, which has been a big challenge. But you do what you can, and you just keep charging forward, and hopefully you fire up, some of your surrounding friends and people, and that's what it's all about. It's just, it's plain inspired to know that you are inspiring the next generation, because someone's always watching. It doesn't have to be younger than you. It could be older. And I always tell people, everybody has something to offer you. Even if there's a ton of negativity, you're going to find at least one positive thing, and that's what you take. And then you put your own little sauce together and you go with it.
Hey, Dain, do you know Dr. Michael Gervais?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Dr. Michael Gervais taught me about no FOPO, no fear of other people's opinions. I wanted to ask you about that as someone who's always in the spotlight, someone who's a leader. Everyone's looking at you all the time, and you're teaching now, coaching. How do you coach that or teach that, or how does that idea even resonate with you? Like, to not have fear of other people's opinions.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. That is definitely the way to do things. You got to kind of make a decision and charge forward, and other people's opinions hopefully don't get you off track. But at the same time, to be honest, you have to navigate politically in every organization that you're in, unless you're complete independent, you know what I mean? But most of us are connected to a company, a school, a club, something, you know what I mean? And it's hard, but you want to be a free thinker. You don't want other people's opinion, especially when it's not positive, be too influential of you. But at the end of the day, you really just want to speak your mind, and hopefully what you're speaking is inspired.
Yeah. And that was a big part of why I did this, because everyone has an opinion, right? And for me, the inspired athlete is like, yeah, I can take in some information, but I'm tunnel vision. I know what I want to get done. That's my goal. I'm going for it, Yeah,
I mean, that's what you got to do, because there's so many people, and usually they're the people sitting on the couch telling you can't do it, exactly, or it's not going to be successful, and they're the ones not going to the gym every day. And it's just so easy to I love watching any sports, and my favorite line is it's so easy from the couch, because they're in it, and people that are out doing it are doing it, and that's a cool thing. That's why I wanted to jump on here real quick, spontaneously, because you're doing it. You know what I mean? Like, I'd love to do a book. I haven't done a book yet, but you're doing it. You know what I mean? And I'm focused on some things right now, trying to win a third national championship in a row with USC. And there's, as long as you're charging, all fronts forward. And but I'm really proud of you, man, for putting this book out. I can't wait to read it. And it's exciting. It's inspiring me. Maybe once I was inspiring you initially when we used to meet for breakfast and break it down. And now I'm like, look at this guy. He's got his book out there. So I better get going. So you lit a fire.
Oh man, that means so much. I'm gonna get you one of these, man.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
We'll have to meet. Give me a call. We'll do it next week.
All right, sounds good. Hey, before we let you go, man, how can people follow you or best support you?
I'm easy to find. Dain Blanton, at Dain Blanton on Instagram is where I'm probably most active. But I'm not that active socially right now, just focused on doing stuff. But easy to message me through that. And, I'm the head coach at USC, and so it's pretty easy to get me there. But I'm always willing to help out. You know that.
I appreciate you and love you, Dain.
Awesome. Thanks, Aaron. Kate. It's Kate or Katie? Kate, nice to meet you, and keep dominating, you guys.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right. We'll see you.
Man, wow, this is so amazing. Kate, I know I'm like kind of just going for it here, but we have Torino coming up next. Before we get him on, let's see how I can get rid of that screen there. I'm not sure. Dain, if you're listening, see if you can exit out. But yeah, just Kate, can you just I think I saw a comment. I wanted to, would you recommend this book for 15-year-old players? Yes, absolutely. This book right here, I actually wrote this book with the idea that a youth athlete would have it in their backpack, right? That's why it's small. right? Have it in their backpack, and the middle of practice or a game, reference it, Oh, Geeter, you're in? Okay, cool. All right, I'm a little backed up, but Torino, if you're listening, just hang tight because I got to get Geeter in. Geeter, get in here. Chris McGee. Let's see if we can get him in here real quick.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, let's go.
How we doing, bud?
How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Congratulations.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Listening to my old broadcast partner, Dain Blanton, on there.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Hey, Geeter, meet Kate. Kate, meet Geeter.
Hi, Keith.
How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
She's helping me with this whole project, but I'm glad you jumped on. I'm a little backed up in time, but I just have to tell you, man, ever since I started this project and I thought of the inspired athlete, I thought of you, man. And yes, you're an inspired MC for sure. You got the gift on the mic, but you have just watched all of the best players, like all my favorite players, like let's specifically Karch and Kobe. Those two guys that come to mind when I think of inspired athlete. Can you address those two guys?
Yeah, I mean, I was fortunate enough to meet Karch later in his career, and he was actually injured during that time, and I think a lot of people thought maybe he was done, but he wasn't. He played about 7 more years and won a ton more tournaments when I was starting to announce back in 97 and 98. I also had the privilege of becoming friends with Karch and then working together. We did a radio show for the AVP together. We did broadcasts together. When Karch started coaching, ironically, he would come to my Sports Shack practices. I was like, why is Karch here? Like, he wanted to learn. And I was like, what are you going to learn from me? But that's how Karch was, right? Like that. I think that kind of brings me to my inspired athlete point is like, whatever Karch did, once he was in 100%. And he was willing to travel from San Clemente to come to Santa Monica to watch a girls 18 and under practice for a club team. He was, we did radio. I always tell people it was hilarious. Like Karch would call me during the day. And these were just like, we had an hour-long show on Thursdays at Sangria and Hermosa Beach on the pier. Everyone would come and rage. And Karch would be calling me at noon, like, who's the guest? Who are we having on? What questions do you want to do? I mean, he was that invested and dialed in something that small. And that's what I've always just respected and appreciated about Karch. I watched the shoulder pop out in Las Vegas, and he and Lambo still win the tournament against Wong and Fenoy with no shoulder. He couldn't hit, going I formation. And I don't know, man, when you watch the all-time greats in those kind of like scenarios and you just see what sets them apart, it's this, you can call it maniacal, but this work ethic and this also mental part of the game. People forget the mental parts of these things. I mean, you don't have to be the most physically gifted, but that mental part of the game is so big. And that's what Karch always had, and Kobe was the same way. And I think we're learning so much more about Kobe. I don't know if you've seen the Redeem Team, but I
haven't yet. No, I haven't.
I recommend it. Anybody who ever loved Kobe, it's like one of the greatest documentaries, it takes you through Beijing. And for me, that's a special time because I got to MC the Beijing Olympics. So I met Kobe at the Beijing Olympics watching. He came to watch Carrie Misty. And of course, I positioned myself. I gave the mic to the Swiss guy, and I went and positioned myself. I think I've told the story in your podcast before. And I sat next to Kobe for the entire match and connected with him and told him, oh, I'm doing sideline reporting. I'm at the Laker games. And then the next year, we became a lot more friendly, and then I covered him for the rest of his career. But, Kobe was, you learn so much about, him during that Redeem Team, where everyone's going out and raging till 4 a.m. and they're coming in, and Kobe says, nah, I'm not going to go out. And it's almost like he had a plan when these guys were like coming back into the casino. He's in weightlifting gloves and a bag going down to work out. Fast forward a week later, the whole team's down there. We're working out in the morning. He just had that gift, that ability to just make everyone around him focus better, play better. Truly being around those guys, it was a gift. I've been able to coach a lot of great players. I've been able to be around a lot of great players in my career. Listen, I've always told you I was a dead average player, man, but I've been around greatness. I know you have, man. I know you had. I only have like a minute left with you, Geeter, but just make the Mamba mentality relatable to anyone listening to this. They don't have to be an athlete or a competitor, but there's something about that Mamba mentality that I think people who are quote unquote inspired athletes, or even just trying to stay inspired in life,
going for fulfillment, we resonate with that idea of Mamba mentality. Talk about that for a second.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, man. I'm watching, like, you know, just some of the names cross by. I see Chris Austin, who's a friend of mine. I see TJ DeFalco, who's one of my favorite players to watch, and he's such a young stud out there. And I think of all of those people. I mean, I think every single person you've had on, and they all have that Mamba mentality. And what it means is when you put the work in and you go for greatness, and you have goals, whether it's to win a gold medal or whether it's to start on your varsity team or whatever it is in life, and you put everything into that, there is no failure. And that's what Kobe was about. If you give everything and you put the work in and sacrifice, because you have to sacrifice, and you put it above everything else, when you go into that arena, you've already won, right? Like, you take that shot. That's why Klay Thompson talks about that Mamba mentality so much. Klay will take the shot, make or miss. I'm taking it again. It's not about only making it. That's what people think. You know, you have to win every single time. That's what Kobe was about. No, the Mamba mentality is about working. So when you're in that moment, you give yourself a chance to do it, and more times than not, you will. So to me, that's the Mamba mentality right there.
I love that, man. I love that, and I love you, Geeter.
I love you too, brother. I'm proud of you.
I'm such a fan, bro. I've always been a fan, and I just continue to, even I just watched you interview LeBron, you know, at preseason. Yeah. I love how you do it, bro. Thanks, I need to sign up for the Geeter crash course and interviewing, man.
Said we're all inspired by you, and you're on your way, man. We can all learn from you too. But you know, anytime we can always go to lunch, go to coffee, and you know, I'll share what little wisdom I have, my man.
I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you so much for being a part of this, man.
All right. Love you, brother.
Love you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Wow. It's so cool. It's so cool connecting with all these people, Kate. Like,
right.
I told you I was going to get emotional.
That's good, though. It's real. It's authentic. It's beautiful. You know, it's awesome. It's overwhelming.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Man, now I'm backed up on time. Torino, if you're still there, I'd love to get you in this thing, Torino. Kate, can you just talk about the book, how people can find the book?
Well, do you want to talk about that, or do you want to answer a couple of the questions that people have?
I want to do it all.
I know I want to do it all, so we don't have time for it.
Torino, let's go! What's up, bro?
What's up, family? How you doing?
Hey, Torino, this is Kate Torino.
Hi, Torino.
Hi, Kate. How are you?
I'm sorry I'm backed up on time, man. I've just been kind of on a roll today with everything. I appreciate your patience, and thank you so much for being a part of this project, man.
It's an honor, brother.
Man, like, you know, I was just telling Kate, I'm like starting to feel the feels right now with this whole thing, just connecting with all of these people like yourself. And, you know, I remember that time when I drove out and we had breakfast and we just talked about this whole project. And I never forgot that, man. I know it was a long time ago, but, you know, we got into it. We got into the weeds, and you and I have always connected on coaching and leadership and inspired leadership. I was hoping you could just kind of touch on that a little bit as I ask all these guests, all these people about the whole meaning of staying inspired or the inspired athlete. I was hoping you could take that to the next level of leadership.
I think with leaders, we create the message and command the narrative. So, you know, speak to me of facts, I will know. You speak to me of that, I will believe. And then there's another piece in that: when it's the truth, it stays forever. So when you're in leadership, it's not a title. It's all about your actions and your why. Like the thing we're talking to our players about, you know, your paycheck is your responsibility. So we have to own what we do. So as a coach and leader, you got to get in the minds of your players. You got to be in that heart space, right? So when you do that, it allows you to tell them the truth. I feel you're able to tell people the truth. When you do that, it's more so rooted in trust, right? People tell the people the truth who they trust. So as a coach and leader in this organization, it's as if you're running a Fortune 500 company. You want to make sure you're in good standing with everybody. It doesn't mean they're going to make every shot, but you still want to be able to give them the truth, and they can take that to other endeavors.
So well said. Kate, he's talking your language now, that heart space stuff. Jump in on that.
I had to, I know. I'm like chomping at the bit here. So how your personal practice, or what are your techniques, or basically how do you get out of your head and into your heart center? Like, do you do a meditation, qigong, anything like that?
Absolutely. We're big on meditation. Big on meditation. It's open door, heart, ears, all that good stuff. And when you do that, you have to be prepared to hear the truth as well. It's not you just telling and speaking the truth. It's you being able to listen. So the meditation is big. I'm big on mental health. Meta World Peace is one of my assistant coaches. And so we're always plugging away at the mental and the psychological portions of what we do. We want our kids to be mentally well. And so that's an ongoing process. And there's I don't know how many check-ins, right? But you have to create that open door so someone can walk through. It's not you just going to them.
Beautiful.
I love that. We just talked a little bit about the Mamba mentality. I don't know if you heard some of that with Geeter. Geeter's the host of the Lakers on Sportsnet. Could you carry that conversation over just a little bit more, and how you use that personally yourself, and how you use that with your team?
I think success doesn't stop once you get there, right? So it's you operate under there being no finish line, right? And I believe basketball is an elegant game, and so you're able to then create teamwork and figure out ways to divide that. So it's like you're performing mathematics throughout the year. Divides the effort, adds to the efficiency, subtracts selfishness, which multiplies the rewards. And if you're able to echo that theme with your team, they understand that it's not about what you memorize, it's in your heart, right? That message is consistent. So the Mamba mentality is you continue to become. You're never, it's being able to become and understanding growth orientation versus goal orientation. We set out to do some things and achieve some types of forms of success. However, we want to be able to enjoy the process. Some things that I do are going to benefit some people that I will never meet, right? Like we created an incredible locker room on this campus. At some point, there are going to be people that are on this campus that benefit from that I won't meet. And that's okay, right? You're paying it forward. And I think Kobe inspired the next generation of athletes, even the businessmen who didn't understand what he was doing on the basketball floor, but understood there was something special going on with him, and him being able in Kobe to articulate the metrics that he was using to I'm reading it. There's the math part, please. It's pretty simple. Teamwork equals mathematics. It divides the effort, adds to the efficiency, subtracts selfishness, which multiplies the reward.
Bang. That's knowledge, bro. That's so much knowledge. Torino, it's just been an absolute pleasure to watch your growth, man. Ever since, I think that was 2008. We were at Pally, I want to say. Was it?
It's been a while, man.
I think it was, yeah. And it's just been so cool to watch how you have grown into yourself and become an inspired athlete, inspired leader, and you continue that journey. And I love it. I'm so glad to call you my friend and colleague. And I'm just real proud of you, man. And, I just really appreciate you for always being in my corner and encouraging me to be an inspired leader myself, man. It's been truly an honor.
It's an incredible grind and growth journey. And so, what good is it if you aren't able to celebrate other people's success? And so, like I said, man, I get more excited about the things that my friends are doing than what the accolades, that's cool, but that's not what I set out to do. So, the passion will get you to where you want to go. But I think at some point your knowledge has to catch up with your passion.
Hey, I need you to come on my podcast soon, man. We got to make that happen. So that's happening, okay?
Oh, man, just let me know the date and I'm there.
All right, cool, man. Cool. Hey, before I let you go, man, just tell people how they can follow you or best support you.
Oh man, I'm active on social media. It's usually my name, Coach Torino Johnson, or just Torino Johnson. I'm at Cal State Los Angeles. I'm the head women's basketball coach. I'm also an assistant coach under Mike Brown for the Nigerian men's national team. So there's so many things and people that you can connect with that are connected to me. So, any one of those will suffice.
Hey, I appreciate you and love you, Torino. Thank you so much for being a part of this, man.
I love you too, brother. Appreciate the invite.
Peace and blessings, man. We'll talk soon.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Oh man, so cool. Everyone is just so full of light. It's kind of like the little runner guy, right? Like the it's coming out of the heart, or like right there.
Right.
JT DeBolt, let's go.
What's up, man?
What's
Good
up,
to see you,
bro?
brother.
Hey,
been looking forward to
JT,
this for a long time.
Kate, JT.
Hi, JT.
What's up, Kate? Good to see you.
You too.
JT, thanks so much for your patience and being a part of this. And man, this is truly a full circle moment for me. For everybody listening, JT was my very first business coach. And I used to listen to you every morning, man. I'm drinking my coffee, trying to figure out what I'm all about, trying to figure out how to make money, trying to figure out how to create freedom for myself. You were in my ear, man. And I'm such a fan of you. I will always be a fan of you. Thank you so much for being a part of this project, man.
Hey, brother, it goes both ways. Huge fan of everything you've done to this point, man. I remember those conversations we were having. You were just kind of like picking it up, starting the business end of life, trying to figure out what direction that was going to go in. And then it came out.
Let's go.
This. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's amazing. That's truly an amazing thing. And I will say this for anybody who's, had any experience with you, they would say the same thing. They just feel kind of drawn into your inspiration, the role model that you are, as far as, like a true leader and the person that shows up to help other people do their thing. So way to carry it forward, bro. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much, JT. We got limited time, so here's what I would like you to talk about for a second. Going from a Navy pilot, taking that, because to me, that's an inspired athlete, being able to operate a plane like that, taking that experience and using that, carrying that forward to propel you into the business world and into the leadership world. Kind of connect those dots there, because I really want to make this idea of the inspired athlete relatable.
Sure, man. I love that you referred to aviation as being athletics, being almost like being an athlete, which it truly is, in the sense that there's the physical. You've got to be physically prepared. You have to be mentally prepared. You have to be academically prepared. And by that, what I mean is you got to kind of know your craft. There's so much technical knowledge that goes into flying airplanes, but on the surface of it, what most people probably don't get, because they see it in the movies, they see Top Gun and all this kind of stuff, they think that's what Navy pilot life is like. It's really about very much like that almost stoic approach that an athlete has to have. It's not just, wanting to truly perform at a very high level, but being a part of a team. And that was one thing I loved about flying in the Navy, man. I had so many cool people around me. I had people that served underneath me. They were, like kind of in the lower ranks that I was inspired by every single day. I knew I had to live up to what they needed in a leader every single day. I had my peers, my buddies that, they were the guys that I hung out with, and, the dudes that got me through some really tough times as well. I had to show up and be the best version of that for them, just like an athlete would in a team, a sports team. And then, of course, you've got your superior officers and the people that you look up to that are served truly as mentors. And again, you want to live up and be the best you can. So there's so many correlations to being an inspired athlete on the sports field as much as there is in the cockpit of an airplane. And I was really blessed early in my business career when I made the transition out of the military. I had somebody say, bro, you have got to get away from this idea of being a business guy and bring that aviation experience, bring that leadership experience of being a naval officer to the forefront, because a lot of people can benefit and learn from that. And to be honest, Aaron, I'll be honest, man, I didn't see it. I was like, are you kidding? Like, who's really going to follow that? And to this day, I'm honored by it. I'm a little bit humbled by it, because it's like, how did that even play itself out? And I could just say that truly your example of like what you're talking about, like this being like an athletic sport, it is so true, man. And I think life is just like that. That's how come people get fired up about sports. They get fired up about athletes, because they can kind of see themselves in the Kobe Bryants, in the Tom Brady's, in, you know, the Gabby Reese's and all these people that are just like totally out there crushing it in their field. So, I mean, we could talk about this all day. I know we got limited time, but for sure, it's exciting stuff.
No, it's great. It's great. Kate, do you want to jump in on any of the leadership stuff? I'm a little pressed for time, but I want to let you jump in.
Yeah, for sure. So with leadership, what is your personal routine, or what techniques do you do for mindset training and to really step into that role and embody leadership?
Awesome question, Kate. I personally, my biggest thing for the mindset piece, because that's probably the most important thing as far as leadership, is number one, you have to get super clear on who you want to be as a leader. Create that identity as a leader, right? And true for athletics, but very, very true for leadership and business. So early on, I didn't know what that was. I had to kind of default back to what worked for me. So even now to this day, first thing in the morning when I wake up, very first thing I do, like when my eyes pop up, I give just a quick gratitude prayer, if you want to call it that. I just think about it. I'm like, dude, I am so grateful I woke up. Like, how freaking awesome is this? Another day. Especially if it's a Monday. I love Mondays, man. Love Mondays, love Fridays. I don't care. Give me a Tuesday, throw a Wednesday in there. That's fine. It doesn't matter to me, but just waking up is pretty badass. Get up, get some coffee going, sit down and read, fill my brain with some good stuff with a book. I prefer nonfiction, but there's some great stuff out there that has kind of like a narrative fiction, if you will. So it's our narrative nonfiction. So it reads like a story, but it's actually, got life lessons, leadership lessons. And then the next thing I'm off to is kind of in that creative space. So this is, you got to think the first 90 minutes of the day. And then as soon as I can, I throw on the weighted vest, get outside in the elements, go for a walk about 45 minutes, half hour, and just get the blood pumping. And then somewhere throughout the middle of the day, I'll get into the gym and actually grind it out pretty hard. But that's kind of how I start off the day. The biggest thing I will say to this, Kate, too, is it's when I was talking about, hey, get clear on what that identity as a leader is. My other thought is, how the heck can I take what I'm doing right now and help somebody with it? It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't mean, hey, I'm going to help the next Aaron Wexler launch a business and write a book, right? It's not necessarily about that. Sometimes it's the person that's like, hey, I'm really stuck. Can you help me with my target market? Can you help me with my brand messaging? Can you help me with how I show up to lead my team and the corporation I'm working in? The smallest things make the biggest difference. And so my focus is, what can I do today to help another person make that next step?
Wow.
Mic drop. I love it. JT, I have to kind of press you to do another live event, man. You got to do it. Like, you have so much knowledge. You have so much motivation and inspiration, energy inside you that I'm just going to stay on you to just keep just nudging you. This is more of a nudge. I want to nudge you to keep, because when I went to that live event, I had the intention to go. I was obviously a fan, and I was like, I got to go see this guy. And the energy that you brought, it really inspired me, man. So if it inspired me, that means it inspired somebody else too, So do you have any plans for more live events or anything like that?
Direct answer is yes. Absolutely. Okay, good. So a couple things just to be aware of. The podcast, we reformatted it slightly, just a small tweak. It was one thing I knew that I wanted to do from the very beginning, but I kind of launched it. I was one of those people, I just believe in kind of flying by the seat of your pants, going with what you got, right? Minimum viable, get it out there. Took a step back and was like, all right, that was awesome. Let's fix it. So we're tweaking that, bringing on a new program. I can't talk much about it right now, but you guys will know. And that program is going to have live event elements to it. So there'll be regular live events coming at it, both virtual and in person. So good to hear. Your wish is my command, brother.
Okay, good. Good, because the world needs your gifts. The world needs your energy, and I'm just very, very grateful for you, man. And I'm a little over our time, but I just before I go, man, just tell people how they can follow you or connect with you or best support you.
I appreciate that. Right now, the best thing is just follow me here on social. My name, JT DeBolt, is the pretty much best way to do it. Stay tuned. There'll be some cool stuff coming out, and I'll just be going back to the book every now and then. Sorry, did I plug this? Was it a shameless plug? Do we do anything?
No, it's awesome.
All right, man.
You, bro. I just love you, man. I got a special place in my heart for you, man. And we will connect soon. And let's talk business too, man. Because you're the guy, bro. Like, honestly, like I can't talk enough about you. You have something special inside you. Like that. Like, I keep referencing the logo, that little light. You got that, bro. That's in there,
man. Thank you very much. As do you. I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate you pushing me.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate you pushing me. We'll connect soon. All right. Thanks for being a part
Roger
of this.
that. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Kate. Good to see you.
You too.
Love it. I love it. Oh man. All right. So the next person we got is gonna be Prince Daniels Jr. Let's see if he's in here. While I'm looking, Kate, plug something.
Plug something. All right, I'm going to ask you a question because I don't want people to think I was ignoring the questions. One question was, how did you collect the athletes for the book?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
And if Prince Daniels Jr., if you're listening, just click request to join. Holly McPeak, I see you too. I'd love to get you in. So we're going to try to get everyone in here pretty soon. How did I select the athletes? You know what I did? I looked around my circle of influence, and I realized I was just surrounded by champions, right? Like seriously, like in my sport is beach volleyball, but like there's all these people, like even like Kenny Lofton, he's a legendary baseball player. He's in my circle. I was just looking at my circle, and I was like really proud of myself. First of all, I'm like, look, way to surround yourself with champion. Like David Meltzer, that's a champion in business, right? JT DeBolt, that's a champion of business. So I said, you know what? Holly McPeak, who I'm about to have on in a second, and Holly, please stick around. I was like, I'm surrounded by champions. I should go connect, right? It's one thing to be surrounded. It's another thing to go connect and create more rapport and an actual relationship. So I just went about that process, and it wasn't easy because everyone's on different schedules and time zones, and everyone's got their own thing going on. But I just did a whole bunch of reaching out, and that's how I did that.
That's awesome. And what would you say is the best way for people to support you and to help promote the book, essentially, to get it out there?
Yes, that's a great question. And Prince, I'm going to get you in 1 second. I see you. The best way to support me is to go today on Amazon and purchase the book, The Inspired Athlete. And then if you want to get this pyramid, the pyramid of inspired living, you go to theinspiredathlete.com and you can grab that pyramid. You can also get this shirt. But the best way to do that is to go to the Amazon link today. I'm really trying to alert the algorithm to get that going, and follow me on socials and stay connected. So yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And let's get Prince Daniels Jr. in here. Former NFL player, and he's gonna be right up your alley, Kate. Like meditation. Let's go, Prince. Let's go.
What's going on?
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing amazing. And yourself?
Oh man, thank you so much for being a part of this. Prince meet Kate. Kate meet Prince.
Hi, Prince.
Kate, how you doing?
You guys have to connect. I mean, look at the light in our logos. The light in the head, the heart.
Right,
Isn't that
right.
Cool? And I just have to start with gratitude, man. Thank you so much for inspiring me to write a book and to follow through and to do a live launch like this too. You did it, and do you remember that day when you launched and I was like getting emotional because I was like, I'm there too, man.
Right. Most definitely.
And here we are.
And here we are, man. Years later, this is beautiful, and this is what it's about, man. Passing it forward, passing it on, passing the torch, making sure that the next athlete can be inspired, right? I'll say this. It's a book drop, too. Since our spirit is inside of us, the word inspiration comes from two words, in and spirit. And so for you to use your inspiration to inspire other athletes is magnanimous and beautiful, man. So I'm proud of you. I'm championing you, man. Thank you for being influenced and inspired by my book, and then you taking the torch and going and doing it yourself. So
oh man, that means a lot, bro. That means a lot. Thank you so much. I'm gonna I've been talking a lot, so I'm gonna hand it off to Kate for this. But Kate, I'm going to implore that you ask Prince something about mindfulness, because Prince has spent a lot of time in meditation, studying meditation in a monastery. You could even talk about that. But yeah, Kate, here's the baton.
Okay, awesome. All right, Prince. So I teach Qigong, moving meditation. So I guess that'll be my first question, is if you do anything like that, Tai Chi, Qigong, just any form of moving meditation.
Yes, my moving meditation is running, Tai Chi as well, and then life. Yeah, my life is constantly like a moving meditation. I am constantly looking to stay focused on my goal, but at the same time, they are perfect distractions that take me away from being on that road to my goal. So what do? I just remind myself to gently come back to where my focus is, and stay focused on that, because that's what a meditation is. Always bringing your mind right back to that number one focus. And so you have to do that in life. And once you understand that life is just an elongated meditation, then you start to understand, like, oh, okay, bringing the mind back to the focus, whether it's a movement meditation, sitting meditation, floating meditation, all the other meditations that there are, laughing meditation, every single thing. You just understand that you're constantly in flow.
Oh, that's so my language. And so what would you say have been the biggest benefits from being in flow state and doing a regular meditation practice?
The learning part and the implementation. With flow, you are not trying to do anything. You're going with the flow. You're being fluid. You're moving. It's like the analogy that I like to use about a ship. When you practice mindfulness and flow, and you're looking to anchor yourself. And so when we think of an anchor, we think of an anchor on the ship. And so what happens? The ship drops the anchor. Now the ship is still moving, but it's not drifting. So it's flowing fluidly on top of the water, but it's not drifting. But once the anchor comes up and the ship finds its direction, then it goes in that direction and it doesn't drift. It has wasted energy. There's no wasted energy. There's no wasted energy, and you know exactly where you want to go. So that's the same analogy when it comes to mindfulness and meditation. Learn how to anchor yourself. And once you do that, learn how to stay in the flow. And when you know exactly what direction you want to go in, lift that anchor up and go in that direction. No wasted energy.
Oh, beautiful. I love it. It's definitely speaking our language.
Yeah.
Aaron, I'm sure a million questions too.
Oh, I always have. The podcast, I think that was the longest podcast I've done, was with Prince. We did like a 2-hour podcast, but
most definitely.
Could you, Prince, could you briefly talk about your experiences at the monastery, and how you used that to who you are now, and basically I want to ask how that created a path towards the new Prince Daniels Jr.
Man, so going to the monastery was like my last lifeline. I tried to commit suicide some years back after I played in the NFL, due to being released from the NFL and suffering a self-identity crisis, which led to a depression. Then the depression led to a suicidal ideation, suicidal thoughts, suicidal attempt. And luckily I'm here today, to share my story. And so the monastery allowed for me to become more familiar with who I am and see myself and be proud of myself and accept myself for who I am before I look to be accepted by someone else. And that really helped mentally, me, and psychologically, because for a long time I didn't know who I was. I identified myself with the sport or what I did, not who I am. And, identifying myself with my occupation. So going to monastery, I went to the monastery due to two of my uncles. They were a part of the monastery. They were going there. So I just followed suit. Just seemed very natural and trustworthy. While there, I had an opportunity to hear silence. I had an opportunity to dive into me. I had an opportunity to see the inner G inside of me, the inner good, the inner greatness, the inner God, the inner genius inside of me. And once I connected with that light, that illumination, not only did my mind become illuminated, but my whole body and my whole spirit. And so I became extremely happy, and I wanted to share this knowledge with others so they can grow as well, because our overall purpose, whether somebody tries to dub a purpose for themselves or just create a purpose, our overall purpose is to help each other evolve. That's what the whole purpose is, helping each other evolve. You see a flower on the ground, don't go to pick the flower up, admire the beauty of the flower, because the minute you pick the flower, you stop the evolution of the flower.
Wow.
So the same thing happens with a child. The same thing happens with adults. We were once children before, but understand that no matter what you go through, we all have dreams. And so if someone has a dream and they want to share with you that they want to write a book, like, you're not there to stifle their growth. You're not there to stop their evolution. You're there to help advance their evolution. And when you can do that, you're living in your purpose. And so these are the things that I learned at the monastery, man, that allow for me to just really regulate my emotions and understand how I interact with the world.
Beautiful. Wow.
Yes, so beautiful. So beautiful. Amen, brother. Thank you for sharing that. You know, and let's just carry that a little further. The idea of staying inspired, right? That's the message that kind of came through to me when I was, you know, deciding to write this book, and allowing that message to come through me. That's really what I'd like to get across. I didn't really write these words. I mean, yes, it was me typing it in, but these messages came through me, you know, and I got my place into a state where I could receive. Right. And I used meditation, and I used getting quiet, and I tried to, you know, get into I tried to, like, not worry about other people in my process. Right. Because it's difficult. Right. As you know, as an author, you know, it's challenging. Right. You got all these opinions, you got all this energy coming at you. I was hoping you could just touch on the idea of staying inspired. Right. And you know, we were just talking with Bourne, who's an Olympian beach volleyball player, who was talking about staying ready. And, you know, as athletes, that's what we have to do, right? We have to stay ready. We're ready for the call, right? But staying inspired, what does that mean? How does that resonate with you?
Well, your spirit is within you. So if you look at it from a descending order on a hierarchy, like concept, it would be spirit is at the top, mind is underneath it, and body falls underneath every single thing. And so your spirit gets the spark to tell your mind what to do, and then your mind tells your body what to do. And so when it comes to inspiration, it is always happening no matter what. Your spirit is alive, and it's inside of you. So to be inspired is to look within. When you look within, you see your spirit. When you see your spirit, you wake up. You tells your mind, let's go. We got to get it. We got to go. We have a purpose. We have a mission. We have to accomplish this. We only have so many days, you know, in the year. We only have so many hours in the days. We only have so many minutes in the hours. We only have so many seconds in the minutes. Right, you start to break things down all the way down to the molecular and cellular level to understand you are always that spark of inspiration. Get your ASS up and follow that. I heard the guy before me, he said that he gives a moment of gratitude. Well, if you want to be great, you got to be grateful. Grateful for the things that you have, grateful for who you are in life, grateful for your presence, grateful to be able to be present in life and share your gift and your wisdom with other people. And so my message to you and everybody else, you know, wake up, be inspired. How? By looking within. When you look within, you'll see yourself, not just in the mirror, but see yourself within. And when you do that, you see your confidence, your courage, your intrepidness, your bravado. You see it all. And when you open your eyes, a song plays. And you can't tell by the way I roll. No. Ha, 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 ha. Still alive. Right? And so still alive. I didn't mean to break down the vocals on here, but just want you to know that spirit is in you. And so when you want to become inspired, you look within you and you make sure that you say, I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to breathe. Once you understand that, then you understand that spirit means breath. Every breath that you take, be grateful for it. That's how you become inspired.
So eloquently said, bro. Kate, do you want to respond to that?
I'm just excited. I love the singing. I think that's just let it out.
Hey,
I feel so grateful you're here and sharing all this, because we need more people with that mentality, that energy, and that experience and that wisdom. And that's what I love about all this stuff with meditation. It taps you into the wisdom and the truth, and you get to just radiate joy, and it's contagious. You're super contagious.
oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I want to remind people, you don't have to be a certain way. A monk doesn't have to look a certain way. I lived at a monastery, but a monk doesn't have to look like dressed in garb, whether it's orange, blue, brown, purple. You don't have to look a certain way. You don't have to act a certain way. Just understand, just learn how to manage and balance your power and your peace. Balance your power and your peace, whether you want to sing, stand alive, whether you want to get serious and speak into people's spirit and tell them about mindfulness and meditation and why it's so important for their livelihood, to help you advance, to help you evolve, to help you understand that once you start to go within, you go up. And when you go up, you elevate. And once you have elevated thoughts, then you have elevated actions that follow. And then you start to make the difference in the world. Then you start to connect with your frequency and your vibrations and your waves. And you do the things that you need to do to make the difference that you need to make every single day.
Man.
So amazing.
So beautiful. And just to play off that a little bit, you know, the whole idea for me about staying inspired, which I talk about a lot in the book, and Kate and I talk about this all the time, is that connection to the Most High, but not just spirit, the galactic love, right? Like, and I just want to touch on love for a second, right? We have, this is the first chapter in the book, right? There's self-love, there's love for others, there's love for our craft, there's unconditional love, and then there's cosmic love.
You took it to the cosmic level.
Yeah, I did. I went there, man, because I used to think unconditional love was the top, because unconditional love, if you think about it, that's actually pretty challenging. To love someone or something regardless of what they did or what's the conditions might be around that thing. Unconditional love, that's a beautiful concept, right?
Beautiful concept.
That's beautiful. But let's take it to cosmic love. Cosmic love is actually beyond that. That's everything. That's when you go look up at the night sky and you're like, yes, I am a part of all of that. And I'm connected to all of that. And then when you channel that energy and you tap into cosmic love, all that other love just is like, it's just a part of you. And that's why I put I put that white, like right in the heart space, right? Because that's, if we can just feel that to me is staying inspired. That to me is like, if I can get to that place first, then I can go out and do my sport. Then I can go out and do my business. Then I can go out and write books. Then I can go out and sing songs and do it from that place first. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, man. Man, you got me inspired to write my next 2 books, man. I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Cosmic love, man.
Cosmic love, man. Such beautiful love, man. I share this. We receive cosmic energy and cosmic love every night when we go to sleep, and everybody in the universe does. That's why it's important for us to get sleep, so we can get that cosmic energy to help us in our next day-to-day activities, because we have our purpose. That's why we plan the night before, so that way we don't waste our energy and just blindly roaming throughout the day. So everyone receives cosmic energy at night. But when you practice mindfulness, when you practice meditation, when you practice silence, when you learn how to reserve your energy, you receive an abundance amount of cosmic energy. And when you have an abundance amount of cosmic energy, that energy has to go somewhere. So that energy turns into love. And when it turns into love, like you said, that cosmic energy flows in. And man, you can feel the connection. You understand that we are connected by this invisible web, but we're consciously connected on every single level that we can imagine. We just have to tap into it.
Yes, man. Man, I'm way over time here, but we could continue this on, and we should do a part 2 because this is all 3 of us, because this is a beautiful conversation. Prince, before I let you go, man, do a plug for your own book, do a plug for anything else you'd like. How can people best connect with you and support you?
Man, that's awesome. My name is Prince Daniels Jr. Look, I'm the author of Mindfulness for the Ultimate Athlete, Mastering the Balance Between Power and Peace. Make sure you find your power and you can balance your peace. Look, check out my book, man. It is an incredible book. I wrote it. It took me about 5 years to write it, but it's telling athletes how to tap into their supreme confidence and be the best individual that they can possibly be and take your game to a higher level. We plateau at the mind because we learn about the body and the mind, but nobody has merged the spirit in there. And if they did, they haven't done it like I've done it. So check out the book, Mindfulness for the Ultimate Athlete. You will love it. Practice the exercises in there and you will see change within yourself. So make sure that you implement the exercises. And when you do, you'll see results. So thank you for that. You can go and find me at Prince ADJR on Instagram, or you can just go check out my website and just figure out all of my social media handles. I'm doing a lot of things right now, coaching, doing events, and speeches. So I go around doing speaking and coaching and events. So I'm gonna have some incredible events this upcoming year. So it's gonna be spectacular. Gonna be in San Diego. But you can find me at my website. Excuse me, I know I didn't plug that in, at www.princedanielsjr.com. I'll say that again, Prince Daniels with an S, JR.com. Find me, find everything that I'm doing. I love to keep inspiring everybody. I use my internal spirit to inspire the next athlete. So, Aaron, I appreciate you. And Kate, right?
Yes.
Kate, I appreciate you as well. Thank you for your tender heart and your tender spirit. So, you keep shining bright.
Yes, you too.
That's it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prince. And we will do a part 2 to this. I'm just speaking that out there right now. And Prince, I just feel so aligned and connected with you on a brother to brother, soul to soul level. I feel like we're just getting started in some collaborative efforts, man. Maybe some retreats or something like that. I don't know. There's something there.
Let's make it happen, man.
Cool,
nothing
man.
to it but to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Again, I appreciate you, and we'll be in touch, okay? Thank you again for coming on today.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you, man.
You're welcome, brother.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Bye, Prince.
Bye, Kate. Have a good one.
You too.
All right.
Wow. Wow.
He's unreal. Oh my gosh, I love him. I want to be friends with him. Can we be friends?
Yeah, we can be. Yeah, he's amazing. And yeah, thanks, Prince. And going back to the question that you asked me before, which is how I chose all the athletes to be a part of the project. I think it was during the pandemic where I had a bunch of time on my hands, right? We all had time. And I was doing a lot of research, and I found Prince, I think, during the pandemic. And I really just vibed with him. I just connected with his energy, and I was like, this guy, I got to connect with this guy. He's speaking my language, and obviously you can tell his vibration is just such such based out of his heart,
Absolutely. Oh yeah, it's unbelievable. Energy doesn't. It's a language, and you can just his energy speaks for himself. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and I think that's the answer right there. I was looking for people who yes, I was looking for champions, people who have found success, but I was looking for people who are heart-based.
Well done. He definitely did it.
Yeah, and people who could see a bigger picture because, yes, the inspired athlete likes to win, right? But the inspired athlete sees a bigger picture than winning and losing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Winning and losing is definitely a part of the journey. Mm-hmm. But there's so much more.
Absolutely. Right.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
I was just say, do you have any more speakers coming on, sir?
Well, I was supposed to have Anthony Davis. I'm way over time. So Anthony, if you're there, click request. I'm not sure if he's still there, but Holly McPeak may come in a little later. I think she was running a little late. But I would just like to take a little time, first of all, to decompress from all those people. That was really cool. And just kind of give you another chance to say anything or plug anything.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to ask you, in the process of writing the book, what was the biggest challenge, and then what was the biggest blessing, like something you just didn't really expect to get out of that experience?
So glad you asked me that. I have a whole section of notes on that. The biggest challenge for me was coordinating. Well, a couple big challenges. The first one was coordinating with my writing coach, and I have to mention my writing coach, Brian Gruber. I just released a podcast episode where Brian and I go in depth about the whole writing process of the book, but he lives in Thailand, and I met Coach Brian in Thailand when I was there in 2019, and just immediately connected with him. And so basically, the long story short, he was offering a creative writing workshop. I took that workshop, and it had so much fun. There was like 20 people in there. It was an ashram on the water in Thailand, like a postcard. It was so beautiful and so vibey, and all these people from around the world, right? And one of his offerings was, hey, if you have a project, I'd be happy to take a look at it for free and give you an hour consultation. So we looked at my project. This was all an outline. This basically was an outline at the time. And he said, oh, you have something here. This is a cool idea. And I ended up hiring him, and we started working together. So that was a challenge in terms of coordinating, because now you have big time change, you know, and so that was a challenge. The other challenge was battling, and this could be very relatable to anybody, even you actually working on your project, battling self-doubt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, battling self-doubt was tough, right? And in the middle of this project, I'd like to share that I almost stopped, right? I almost stopped because, what's up, Craig? I see you still in there. Yeah, I almost stopped, and I'll share this. This is a little bit of vulnerability here, but I was like, I'm not a writer. Who am I to think I'm a writer? Who am I to think I have a message that is worth sharing? You know, I had to battle those, I don't know if you want to call them demons, but that was a challenge. I had to do a lot of self-mirror work. I had to look at myself in the mirror. There's a couple sections in the book where I talk about, where I remember I talked about earlier, slipping on bananas, you know, like, yeah, I slipped on a few bananas, and I had to figure out if I was going to share that in the book. And I ended up taking quite a bit of time, and I decided, yeah, I'm going to share. I am going to share. And the reason why is because, you know what, if this can help someone else along the way, then that's great. I would feel great about that. Yeah. I think a lot of people slip on bananas, and they just get quiet and they get ashamed. And it took me probably over a decade to realize that I don't need to feel ashamed by making a mistake, right? I made some mistakes, and it took me a long time, but now I'm at a place where I'm like, you know what? I'm ready to share. I'm ready to share those mistakes and talk about them. And the main message is, like, when you slip on a banana, that's okay. It's all good. You know, you can hop right up and you can navigate a little better next time.
Beautiful. And then do you have any advice for other writers and people that just want to create content in general?
Yes. So glad you asked. Yeah. I mean, you know, the biggest thing I'd say too is on that, you know, speaking of Craig Siegel, Craig always talks about, you know, taking action before clarity. You just go, just take action. You don't need clarity to take action. And I hear what he's trying to say on that, but I think I would challenge that. And I would say it's important to take some time to get clear. It's okay to not go so fast, you know, like, and Craig, if you are listening, I'm not hating on you because you have momentum. Once you have momentum, it's good to get on the gas pedal and go. But when you don't have momentum, I think it's actually okay to take your time and to just chill and to really get clear on what you're trying to be about and who you are trying to become, right? Because if you don't know that and you're just going really fast, that can be tough. So as a content creator, as someone who's trying to put content out there, whether it's a book, a podcast, a movie, even IG lives like this, I think it's really important to get quiet and find your own clarity and figure out the vibration and energy you would like to put out there. What energy do you want to to have other people like receive. You know, how you can't control how they're going to receive it, but you can control what kind of energy of your output is going to be. So I would say take some time, get quiet, do a lot of note taking. I actually like the verbal note taking on voice memos on your phone. Sometimes when I'm on a walk or something, I'll have an idea and I'll just record it. You know, so I think that's really good. But then the last thing, I know I'm rambling, but then the last thing I'd like to say about that is creating a team. A content creator it's going to be tough to do it by yourself, right? And that's why I asked you to help me today, right? Like, and I asked all these people to come on because the power of team is there's something to that. It's really hard to do it all by yourself, you know?
Absolutely. And do you plan on another book?
Do I plan on what?
Writing another book?
Oh, yeah. So I actually have already started the process of writing another book, and I'll share my process quickly here. The process I do for writing, I do something called, there's two things. I do something called mind dumping, where you just kind of like get all your thoughts out. It doesn't have to be grammatically correct. The spelling could be all off. You just get it all on paper, right? It could be jumbled. It could be poetry, however the content comes out. So I do mind dumping, but then I do a practice called automatic writing. Automatic writing is, it's a practice of getting real quiet first, that meditation, getting quiet and allowing those messages and the words and the phrases and the formatting to come through you. That's more of a spiritual concept, but that happens through meditation and practice, because that's not easy to do. It's not easy to just allow words to come through you like that, especially for someone. This is my first project, right? I didn't write a book before this, so I had to learn the process of automatic writing. And again, there were some days where I just did not feel like writing, or I actually wanted to stop, you know? So, but yeah, anyway, I'm rambling, but yeah, those are some of the things that come to mind.
Awesome. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you need to let people in? Is anybody waiting to get in?
No one right now, but I did want to just spend a little bit of time just in case Holly McPeak wants to come in. I'm a big fan of Holly, so I actually wanted to spend a little time going through my whole team right here, because I have a large team, and I know this is going to be recorded, and I just wanted to throw all these names out there. So just bear with me here, okay? Because this was such a personal project for me, Kate. As you know, you've been a part of this. But I'm going to start right away with someone we both know, David Meltzer. Yeah. You know, David Meltzer, I call him my business coach. And he's much more than that. But bam, right away, David Meltzer shot out, thank you. Thank you for just being a guiding light for me. We already mentioned Craig Siegel, my personal growth and mindset coach. He was the first guest on here. Thank you, Craig. And both those guys, and again, going back to the recommendation for if you want to have a project, get coaches, both those guys, and check them out on the paradigm shift. Those guys are awesome. They got so much energy and creative energy flowing through them. It's contagious, right? My spiritual advisor, Julie Bonnier, she changed my life. She changed my life. Hard to talk about because it's so deep, but to have a spiritual advisor, highly recommended. My writing coach, I mentioned Brian Gruber. My written work editor, Tom Vader. My podcast editor, Ollie Thorpe. My book formatter, Alexandru Oprescu. My book cover artist, M.A. Remon. My pyramid design artist, Haley Badonovov. My publicist, Bridget Sisko. My website designer, Christian Honer. My IG Live co-host, Kate Yurenda. My first volleyball coach and life mentor, Mark Oz Ozello. My headshot photographer, Bader Hauer. And my roommate, who I love, Alfred Brown. I would call that my team right there. And those 15 people have just given me nonstop love and support. And I got to throw mom and dad on there too, because I talk to them every day. So that's 17 people that I've just created a team around. And that's really just helped me create this book.
That's unbelievable. I love that, Aaron. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels really good, you know, and it's, I mean, God, there's so much more I want to say, but it's just like, I just want to take a minute and just be like, I know we're on 2 hours now. I'm just like, it's just like, it's a very special thing, Kate, you know, when you have a vision and you don't quite know how to do it, but you just trust, you know. I think that's a big concept too, is trusting the universe. To like these 15 people, you know, I didn't know how that was going to happen. Even me and you, I didn't plan for this to really to happen. I just asked the universe for help, and the universe said, "Here's a team."
Right. Oh, that's so amazing. And it's all about trust. I mean, that's the whole process of creation. We have to co-create based out of trust and based out of faith, and just like knowing and owning, like, okay, this is going to show up. I believe it. I'm confident. I expect it. And I trust that everything's going to show up in perfect divine timing. And I love how everything came together for you. It's really beautiful and amazing. It's very inspiring.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I think we can kind of wrap it up. Holly said 2:15. Well, I might just jump back on with Holly, but I would like to mention the podcast, right? Because what I did in the middle of this writing project was I stopped writing, which my writing coach was like, "What are you doing, bro? What you're going off the plan here," you know? And that was, I want to mention that because I was in the middle of 2020, the pandemic. And I started this podcast because what happened is I was interviewing all these people, but then lockdown, right? Then we went on lockdown. And so I did all these interviews by Zoom. And I was still getting charged up, just like Prince charged us up right there. I was getting that feeling through all of these interviews I was doing, right? So I was like, why would I wait for the whole thing to be published, to get these interviews out? Why don't I just get them out now? They don't have to be perfect,
right?
You know? So that's when I decided to start a podcast. And I would like to just say this, that podcast within the game has opened up my life in a way that I did not imagine. I didn't think that was going to happen, you know? And the whole idea of podcasting, like going back to like a first time writer, I wasn't a writer. I was a athlete and a coach and an entrepreneur, a business owner, but I didn't know how to write. And then podcasting, I was like, wait, what? So what I did, I know I'm rambling, but stay with me, please. What I did is I just went to YouTube, and I went to like the YouTube University, and I just typed in how to write a book, how to start a podcast. And I just did all this how-to stuff, and I just started learning, and that's how I did it. And I told my writing coach, hey, look, you know, I know I'm in the middle of this writing process, but I would like to try to create an audience prior to releasing the book. You know, it doesn't have to be millions. That'd be cool. But even if it's a few people, then I could show the book to them, you know, when it's done. So, yeah, so I wanted to mention that part because sometimes you got to just take a leap of faith and just be like, there's an inspired nudge. I had an inspired nudge to start a podcast, take these interviews, take them on Zoom, find an editor, put it all together. And now I'm monetizing that. And that feels amazing.
That's incredible. I love it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So, whew. This is actually a pretty cool format. I've never done the 3 people like this.
Yeah, I like that. Other than my phone dying on me at the end there. I was like,
oh, did it? Oh, okay.
You know, we went a little longer, but it was worth it. It was amazing. Everybody was so inspiring and just incredible. Like, I can't wait to connect with these people more. So it was great, Aaron. Really great.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, I really appreciate you being a part of it. I'm actually going to hang out and wait for Holly. If you want to hang out a little more too, if you have to run, that's totally fine. But before you go, if you want to hang or whatever you want to do, what were some of your big takeaways today?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I was literally writing down quotes. So many things. I just love all the conversations about leadership. I love everything doing with energy. Like when people were talking about flow state and meditation, of course, that's the stuff that lights me up the most. just love people talking about law of attraction and how everyone has such a different path and such a different career and different experiences, but coming to the same conclusions, the same inspiration, the same wisdom. You know, that the truth is the truth and it resonates. And you could hear it with all of the speakers. It was like, wow, powerhouses. Everyone's got truth and wisdom. And when we all come together like that, that's just when we're unstoppable. So I loved every drop of it. Honestly, it was beautiful. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's really fun. Great energy. Everybody radiated. It was like, ooh, okay. Like you just more about them. It was great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's super. That's great. I know, and I'm so glad you're able to be a part of it. Why don't you spend a little more time plugging your project, because all of this actually fits and resonates with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So my company is DreamBolt Network, and I'm on Instagram, or you can check out the website. I have a few books I wrote on there, a lot of video content for sure, product line, spoken words. I teach Qigong. There's some Qigong videos on there. So again, just trying to really mainstream ancient healing practices and wisdom and really make this stuff approachable so that we're all doing it, because I truly, truly believe that we can manifest peace in our world. It's just a mathematical equation. It's enough of us doing the inner work, lifting our frequency, and working together collaboratively, just like this, just like what I saw today. And so my next film coming out is Manifest Peace. I'm so excited for that one. And it's going to be a docu-series. So anybody who wants to connect, please reach out. I'm always happy to talk to new people. And yeah, I'm just open like Aaron. We just love this stuff. We're both addicted to it and obsessed with it all. Yeah. It's a lifestyle. It's not just something we do Monday through Friday. You know, it's 7 days a week, go, go, go with this, because it's our passion. It's the truth, you know, and it's unity consciousness, and we need more of that. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And just personally, Kate, just so you know, like, you know, how you've introduced me to the Qigong work and the energy work, I'm just grateful for that, because I'm doing my own practice of that now. And I'm definitely ready for another session soon. But, you know, that Qigong work, that energy work, it's now become a priority for me. It used to be secondary, right? But now spiritual connection and energy work is prioritized in my life. And that's a huge, huge lesson that I learned by connecting with you and by, you know, bringing this project to completion. But I just love that energy work, you know, and I'm very grateful that you've opened up my my field, you know, through that work.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, in our industry, most people understand power of the mind, and they've mastered their thoughts, they've mastered their mind. But a lot of people forget about the energy aspect of it. You know, like people have emotional intelligence and mental intelligence, but there's energy intelligence. And it's when we master the energy, we become superhumans, where we are so unstoppable, and we really can access and harness the quantum field and be magnetic and radiate certain frequencies and align and vibrationally attract anything we want. It's like, wait, life gets way more easy, way more exciting and abundant and just magical. So it's like, why aren't we all doing this? Why weren't we taught this? And so I think you and Aaron, it's the same mission, same vision to get this stuff out there and teach people that it's not as hard as they think, and that if you master the mind and your energy, you can do literally anything. There's nothing that gets in your way except for yourself. And so I think that's just, it's time for humans to step into their power. Like that's where we're at. That's the next chapter for all of us. It's okay, we've been through a lot. We've done a lot of the healing stuff, and we're still going to continue on that path. But let's really step into our power and manifest something the world's never seen. Let's do something so out of the box. So it seems essentially impossible, because we've both learned anything is possible. We just have to commit to it and use energy and harness energy. So yeah.
Man, amen to that. And Dr. Joe Dispenza, if you're listening, that we're speaking your language now, so we want to connect with you.
Yes. Dr. Joe, yes. I've just actually been recently talking to his people, trying to get him in the next film.
Let's go.
Yeah. He had said yes. I saw on the cruise. I ran into him several times on that cruise, and he's like, yeah, I'll be in your movie. But then 2020 happened, so it's this thing I'm going. I won't let up. You know me, I'll get it.
Yeah.
We're gonna track Joe.
Amazing. Kate, thank you. Love you. Appreciate you.
Absolutely, Aaron. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you stick around? Do you wanna just kind of do it for yourself?
Yeah, I'll go solo for a little bit, but thank you for giving me 2 hours of your time. I really do appreciate it. And absolutely. And we'll connect after this too. We'll do a little decompress. But yeah. I do think you, Prince, and I should revisit that conversation, because that was very powerful.
I felt that wildly more than any of them. That was the one where I was like, oh my goodness, who is this person? Like, we need to collaborate. I could totally. Everyone was phenomenal, but yeah, he's a different frequency. You could feel it.
Yeah,
so,
and not I just want to reiterate, not taking away anything from anyone else, but you know, the fact that, you know, everything that he's been through, you know, going through a dark place to going to a monastery to now being able to share that and to talk about that, it's very beautiful and very commendable. So yeah, we'll revisit that for sure.
Yeah, awesome, Aaron. Sounds great.
All right, thanks so much, Kate. I appreciate you.
All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Okay, talk soon. Bye. Hey,
how you doing, bud? Congrats.
I'm doing great, man. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah.
Thanks for coming in for a few minutes, man. I appreciate it.
You got it. Congratulations on your book, man. Exciting.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. So I got limited time, so let's just jump right in, man. Reid, I know it's been a long time, but first of all, I got to thank you for being a part of this project. You were the very first podcast that I published, and it's still doing well. There's a lot of views on that thing. And remembering back, I know we talked a lot about finding your why. Do you remember that conversation? It was really fun.
Yeah, it was at a time in my life where that was kind of front and center. And yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that was great, man. So the whole idea of this project, the whole idea of staying inspired, right? That's kind of the message that I kind of ran with this book. What does that message mean to you as an athlete?
So I think that's a difficult, maintaining motivation is difficult, especially alone. So I guess in my journey post athletics, even into the business world and what I'm doing now, it seems like we all have a much higher chance of reaching our goals if we have a program, we have confidence that we're doing it right, and if we can maintain motivation and have accountability. So those last two things, I think the first two things are like, if you have a coach, you're dialed. Mm-hmm. You've got a program and you're getting feedback. But the last two things when it is about staying inspired, motivation and accountability, that typically means or is easier with somebody else. So whether it be one person or multiple people. So to me, the inspired athlete is one has a team.
Yeah.
And iron sharpening iron, there's a goal that requires collaboration. And I think we're at our best in those spaces.
I love it, Reid. I love it. And you've always been like a champion of champion mindset. Like when I think of champion mindset, I think of Reid Priddy, you know, because, you know, I know we talked about like a lot of, about finding your why, but like all these deep mindsets, to me, that's the whole idea of champion mindset. Carry that further because you are a champion, right? Having the gold medal is like it's just kind of like the icing on the cake, but you know, the champion mindset that went into that and how that continued to help you with your success, and it continues to help you with your success now.
Yeah, champion's mindset, that interesting idea. I think at the end of the day, focus has got it. I mean, that's the first thing that comes to my mind is focus. Focus being a skill, focus being something that might not come naturally to most of us. But it's a skill just like building your bicep and building that muscle. It's a muscle that needs to be built and continually fed and fostered. And so, yeah, I think, you know, athletes have such, I think, an advantage in terms of thriving in life because of their experience in sports and playing for good coaches, bad coaches, playing with great teammates, bad teammates. But this idea of having this clear idea of a desired outcome and then leveraging everything into it. And, you know, outside of athletics in all of my other pursuits, I am constantly trying to hone in and search for and discover what is the championship? What does it mean to win at life? What does that look like? How would I define it? and how do I align everything else to get there? And I think that's what the athletes, champion athletes do is there's clarity, there's focus, and they basically do a great job of aligning all of the efforts in that direction. And so it creates its own momentum, and things become more possible. And it all starts with just having clarity and focus and understanding what those driving forces are.
I love it, bro. I love it. You know, one of the highlights for my athletic career is I got to compete against you. And even though you gave me a beat down, you know, it was really cool to be a part of that. Because when I've also trained against April Ross and Alex Kleinman and Sarah Hughes recently. And all you guys, I'm putting you in that category too, because all you guys have this focus, like you said, that is really cool to just witness and be in the same energy field, even if I'm on the other side of the net. I think that's a really relatable thing to whatever anyone is trying to accomplish, right? That focus, like you're saying, that drop in, to let everything else kind of, just go away for a little bit, right? And just really lock in on your craft. To me, that's part of the inspired athlete. That's what you're talking about. That's champion mindset stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, what comes to mind is so golf is a pastime that I love. And, I'm on the infant side, pendulum of mastery. And it's so funny how many of people that I will encounter or play with regularly that will make comments like, man, you're always fiddling with your swing. Like, why are you doing that? Like, as if, basically what they're saying is just accept where you're at. And I think that's the real difference, is that I'm pursuing body control and ball control, whether I'm playing volleyball or golf. And there's no way, while I'm still breathing, I'm going to settle for what I have today. I'm always going to be trying to get a little bit better. How can I look at it differently? And so I think the people that have that mindset, where it's just like, just accept it, just be who you are today. I'm not saying that I'm unhappy and I'm not comfortable in my own skin, but what drives me and compels me is getting, 1% better, just that little bit, just kind of just going one more. Can I get a half a stroke better? In fact, when I'm helping our athletes in sand, we're trying to think of fractional points. It's a scoring game. At the end of the day, it's not a performance. You're not being judged. So, what you look like, what you sound like, all of those things don't matter. All that matters is, did you score the point? And so there's actions within a point. So let's say offensive actions, there's passing, setting, and hitting. So fractionally, if I get better at passing, I could fractionally start scoring more points. And I think that when we start to, for me, this might not be for everybody, but when I break things down into palatable, smaller chunks that I can understand and sort of not control, but get a hold of, then it's so much easier for me to develop a plan to then go execute. And in fact, from a leadership standpoint within our company, I have a bunch of athletes that work for me. And it's just like, as I break things down and get more clear and give them the resources that they need, it's like I could see the competitive juices just turn on and their productivity increase.
Yeah, man, totally. Hey, I know we have limited time, so I just want to let you just plug anything you want, man. You mentioned Move in Sand, right?
InSand is the brand. Sand. Yeah, we had to get Move in Sand because insand.com wasn't available, but I've since acquired it. So InSand. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, no, we're looking forward to the AVP and the AVP event coming up in November. InSand's going to have its first league finals at that event. So our athletes are going to get a chance to play on the AVP courts, which we're excited about.
That's super cool.
But yeah, man. Yeah, if you're in town, we'll go out for a workout on the sand. And
I'd love that.
Yeah.
I'd be honored. And don't you have a mindset course as well?
Yeah, mxpmindset.com. Yep. It's time for me to get in there and redo it. We've learned so much. It's kind of like we've been in the field for 5 years. It's time to take those field notes and reapply, because I feel like the course is already more developed.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's something you can always come up with a version 2 and a version 3, and you can always just keep evolving that. So yeah, man, very cool.
Well, good luck today. I hope you hit Amazon bestseller, buddy. I'll get mine.
Hey, thanks so much, man. I appreciate you supporting me and being a part of the journey, man. Appreciate it.
You got it. Take care, bud.
Thanks, Reid.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, so cool. Let's see if we can get Holly McPeak in here. Holly, if you're listening, come on in. Let's get you in the IG Live. This has been so fun. Holly, let's go.
How are you?
I'm amazing. How are you?
I'm great. So I'm in the car for picking up my son from school. So
no worries at all. Thank you for making some time. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So this whole talk and day has been a celebration of this book. And, you know, you're definitely one of the people that comes to mind when I think of inspired athletes. So let's jump right into that. What does that mean to you? How would you define the inspired athlete?
A lot of what Reid said, you know, having a growth mindset, never settling, right? I mean, yes, it's important to embrace where you're at, but at the same time, keep wanting to evolve as an athlete. I know whatever I'm doing, and I tell my son this all the time, whatever I'm doing, whether I'm in the kitchen, whether I'm on the beach, whether I'm coaching, whether I'm doing TV, I want to be the best that I can be. I want to continue to learn, and I'm receptive to coaching. So I think that's really important. In whatever you're doing, you want to be mindful of that, right? You're not just going through the motions. If you're passionate about it, if you're doing something that you're not passionate about, maybe you pivot, but being passionate about something really helps.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, one of the things that comes to mind when you're talking like that is uninspired, right? That's actually a big theme of my whole journey, right? There's been a lot of times where I've just been like, oh man, you know, what am I doing? You question yourself. And like, even the process of writing this book, Holly, like I went through a lot of self-doubt. I was like, who am I to be to consider myself a writer? I'm not a writer, you know, I'm not like, who am I to express a message of stay inspired? Like, you know, I questioned myself a lot and I had to battle through that. And like you said, coaches definitely help. I had a lot of help. But what advice do you give to anyone out there who might be experiencing that as an athlete, a business owner, a parent, anybody? I want to make this relatable, you know, experiencing self-doubt, experiencing like uninspiration.
Yeah, you know, it happens a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you kind of have to like back it up and say, okay, am I doing something that I love? Do I really want this? Or do I want to be doing something else? I mean, that's okay. That's okay, realizing that. There's a lot of athletes I've coached in the past that have realized that maybe volleyball wasn't their passion and they find it somewhere else. And
Right.
When you're passionate about it, it could be photography, it could be whatever, cooking in the kitchen, whatever it is, but finding your passion like just unlocks this freedom and this energy. And, you know, that's important. So backing it up, realizing why you do something is really important. Not just, okay, I'm on this path and I can't pivot. I'm just on this path and there's nothing else I can do. Because a lot of people get into that rut. They're doing something that they're not passionate about, don't love. And realizing that is so powerful. You know, talking right now about people who might not be on the right track and need to pivot. But, you know, that's what you asked, right? People who are fired or people who feel burnout. You know, burnout can be a lot of different things. Maybe you're not passionate about it. Maybe you just need to rest and plan. I liked what Reid talked about, breaking things down and having a plan. That's how I like to approach things. Like, okay, this is what I want. How am I going to get there?
Yeah.
That's really important. How am I going to achieve what I want to achieve? And sometimes your plan doesn't work and you have to pivot and do something else. But that's a good place to start, having that plan and being mindful every day. Hey, am I doing everything I can do to achieve that goal that I set for myself? Every day, check in. Why not? Sometimes you just get on this treadmill, right? Where you're beating yourself up a little bit, but you got to check in. Okay, am I doing everything? I had to tell those people no. Today, I had to tell people no that I couldn't coach today because my priority is my family, for one. And I hate saying no because I want to help people, but at the same time, is it catering to what I need? I need a balance between work and my family and everything else, and my family comes first. So sometimes you just have to make hard decisions and apologize. But hey, it's really important that you follow that path and you stay focused.
I love it, Holly. And you mentioned being mindful, and mindfulness is a big part of this project too. You know Dr. Mike Gervais, right?
Oh,
right. Yeah. Shout out. So let's talk about just that for a minute, because I know he's big on mindfulness. He taught me a lot about that just the idea behind that, right? Just being, and like the idea of meta awareness, like being extra aware. Talk a little bit about the idea of mindfulness and the whole journey to staying inspired.
Well, I'm gonna, put it in a volleyball situation.
Sure.
Right? You're warming up your arm. You want to work on better hand contact on the ball, and you're watching your hand every time, working to get the spin that you need, working to get that hand contact. That's mindfulness, just warming up your arm, let alone, and then you obviously incorporate that into the rest of your practice. But I mean, so many athletes don't even make great hand contact on the ball. If they were mindful of that every time they hit the ball, they'd be teaching themselves that correct hand contact on the ball, which like just turns their game up to the next level. It really helps. And so mindful every rep. You're not just going through motions. You're not just at practice. You're not just going to get better. Yes, I mean, reps help, but they have to be mindful reps. I'd rather have 10 mindful reps than 100 just whatever I'm sprinting through and getting touches. You need to be mindful and focus on getting better every touch. And that's the only way I know how to train. Maybe I was a little too intense, but that's me. And that's how that's how I'm the most comfortable. I don't waste time. Right. Yeah. I mean, I feel like in the gym, same thing. You see people just talking, whatever. I'm there to work out. I don't need to waste time. I don't want to waste time. I'm at the beach. I'm there to get better. So let's get down to work. We can have a lot of fun getting after it.
So since we're both fans of Dr. Michael Gervais, let me just ask you one or two more things, and I'll let you run. He taught me a big thing about no FOPO. I love that. I've been asking people about that. And since we both work with kids, I think that's a big theme. FOPO, fear of other people's opinions, especially now with the IG world, and, and as a young athlete, learning how to be a performer, learning how to handle the lights and handle all the eyeballs on you, but not let all that mess you up, just staying focused on you. And even when the opinions do come, not being afraid of them. You're like, okay, that's just your opinion. I'm going to stay focused on what I got to do. Can you address that?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I mean, in my situation, when I started playing professionally on the beach, there wasn't one person on the planet who thought I could ever win a tournament. But I didn't care. I was hungry. And I'll tell you, I rubbed a lot of people the wrong way because I got intimidated because I had a goal. I wasn't mean. I wasn't rude, but I had a plan and I was going to go after it. And you weren't going to scare me away from that. I didn't care what they thought. But I understand in this day and age that it's intimidating when people, they don't like her. She's too aggressive. Oh, she's this, she's that. People judging you. There's a couple things I tell my athletes. One, you can't compare your journey to anybody else's, right? You could be going to snail's pace and somebody else could be way ahead, but in the long run, you're going to get what you want. You just have to be comfortable in your own skin, right? Feel good about what you're doing, and just kind of block out the noise. And it's hard to do. Young woman, I mean, we're sensitive, right? We're sensitive. And a lot of female athletes talk about the fear of shining, right? On your team. They want to dull the shine so they don't stick out from their friends and their peers. But you don't want to do that. Men don't do that as athletes. That star guy, everyone's like, he's a stud, whatever. But the girls, they don't want to stand out. So it's really important to obviously have that self-confidence, love yourself, love what you're trying to accomplish, and feel good about yourself. And that's not always easy, but I think it's an important base, and it's something that people can work on every day.
Yeah, well said. Holly, hey, thank you so much for being a part of this project. And I'm a fan. I'm happy to call you my friend and my colleague. And I really appreciate you being a part of the project and this IG Live. And before you go today, just take a moment to promote anything you want, even elite, because I don't even consider us competitors. I think I want us both to succeed. you know? So yeah, talk about that. Talk about your podcast too.
And that's another thing. We haven't been doing our podcast. We've both gone in other directions, so that's on hold. I do own Elite Beach Volleyball with Barbara Fontana and Eric Fonoy Moana. We're starting our club season in November, which is exciting. And it's, you know, all about helping young athletes get the right skill training so they can flourish as athletes. I'm also right now covering indoor volleyball for ESPN, which I'm really enjoying. The athletes across the country that are just playing at such a high level. And I get to travel all over the country, meeting, seeing them, hearing their stories. And there's so many inspiring stories. So if you're a volleyball fan, make sure you're out there watching volleyball, especially on ESPN and all the great volleyball teams across the country. And then beach volleyball in Manhattan Beach, there's a collegiate tournament this weekend. So there's lots of volleyball to support. And I'm just a fan, and I want to support all those athletes out there and different programs across the country because I think it's a wonderful sport.
Amen. Well said. Holly, I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. Good luck with your book.
Thank you very much.